Okay, should be live now. How's it going? How are we doing? If you're waiting, does it just start playing or do you have to refresh? These are the questions that I ask myself. Is it streaming technically right now? Let's see. Doesn't seem to be necessarily going. Is it going? Yes. Now it's going. How are we doing, everybody? Starts playing. Good. I saw some great chat. People are making Saul puns. That's a really good way to cope. Lalo did nothing wrong. Yeah. I quite enjoyed the television series Better Call Saul. That's actually a really good point. Hey, Kimberly Nails. Wish me luck, Mr. Therapy. I'm at work. Oh, shit. Good luck. I love helping people with time theft. Good morning, USA. What? So, you may have noticed, if you're a fan of the show Better Call Saul, that it has ended. So it's no longer a show. It's over. And that's pretty intense. We aren't in 4-3, so it's already a good start. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty concrete thing that was incorrect. It's all over now. Yeah, that's a good point. Simply Snaps is going to come on stream in a bit, and we're going to chat. But I have lots of fun stuff to do before then. So, I mean, a lot of the clips of the episode are on YouTube. What do you think of the fact that they found a spring? Like that alone did this even really happen? You know what I mean? Like, who's to say this really happened? It seems like it almost could have been like imaginary, but I guess it did actually happen. It's wild that they stumbled across a spring as if it's in like a biblical story or like some sort of parable. I mean, that's like a parable. Two people were walking along in the desert with $7 million in cash. You know, fill in the rest there. No. Everybody, I hope you're really doing well. We're going to have a great stream today. First post Better Call Saul stream. So it's really the end of an era. Oh, I hope the stream's not being weird. I'm just trying to pull up the chat in a way that's helpful. But I can still see the chat. It's just sort of a little bit. It's always different. It's never the same. Like, the way to get the chat is always different. I know I talk about it a lot. Okay, anyways. So, Lalo said they'd find a well. Oh, shit. God damn it. I love this hive mind way of processing the best show on television and the most complicated, awesome drama I've ever seen. So yeah, they did find the well. Oh yeah. I remember that now when Lalo was like, it's a well. It's the only one there. What's it look like? Well, you know. This scene was so interesting. I mean, I love that the timeline just got like more and more fucked up in the last like 4 or 5 episodes, and like anything could go in the finale. Like, they could pull from anywhere. You know, obviously there was oh my god, I didn't pull up the fucking, okay, hold on. I got to pull up the Chuck and Jimmy scene. I don't think I pulled that up. Jimmy finale. No, not that. Jesus Christ. Better Call Saul. We'll figure it out. Did I not get it? Saul gets caught. I see this time, on the last stream, we were watching someone who had uploaded the full episode. So what did you all think of the finale? How about we get some just reactions to the finale in the chat? That's not a well. I mean, is it not a well? What is it? Like a small pool? In one of my videos, I said Jimmy was frustrated with the world's second best lawyer mug. I don't really remember saying that, honestly, majority. I'm not trying to just deny it, but when I talked about the mug, I feel like I remember saying, um, what did I talk about? Did I talk about like the symbolism in their relationship, or um, I don't know. Feel free to send me a clip. I will respond for my words and actions. Um, let's see. Everybody's responding. Did everybody say hi to each other yet? I don't think we did that. So when you're done telling me what you think of the finale, feel free to say hi to each other. Do you remember each other's names, and you see the pictures too, or is that just me? No, I think everybody sees the pictures. Oh yeah, yeah. All I talked about the mug was how it didn't fit. And yeah, yeah. So maybe I said that that was like a metaphor for like him not fitting it. No, it's a metaphor for like his relationship and like edgy lifestyle with Kim not fitting into the like posh successful lifestyle of an actual like Davison, Maine lawyer. I think that's what I meant or said. Um, what do I think of the interpretation of Jimmy only confessing to everything for Kim's approval? That seems like I mean, I don't see why else he did confess. I mean, that seems like the best explanation. Yeah, he was doing it to try to show off to Kim, like, hey, I'm able to take accountability. Isn't that attractive? Don't you view me as like a fairly respectable person now? Um, it seemed impulsive in a way, but it wasn't impulsive, of course. It was planned out. I was talking to someone today who was saying that he was tell me, is this true, chat? Someone today was telling me that Jimmy that I guess I'll call him Jimmy. That Jimmy was like with what he did with confessing the way he did and like whatever else he did in that process, he made sure that Kim was under less liability for her own actions. Someone said that to me, but I don't think that's true because I don't see how the civil suit could ever change in any way of like what Cheryl could bring against her, um, since she had already put in her thing. But maybe that was true, and I didn't get that. But no, I saw what he did. Like Jimmy just wanted to, um, do the right thing. I don't know. I was talking about this with UD Reviews on her stream, but did it seem genuine to you? Like from where he mentions the Chuck stuff, some of y'all remember each other. Nice, that's great. I said he has a frustration with the mug itself. Well, I didn't mean that if I said that because that's kind of silly. He loved the mug. And when Kim threw it out, that was the sign of her getting harder than he was. That was like a tip off point where it was like, oh shit, Kim's less sentimental than him. This is going to be complicated. I think Jimmy was the bigger target, and perhaps even Cheryl would back off Kim with the real culprit behind bars. Oh, okay, so there might have been something to what they were saying. Fair enough, yeah. He lied that she was more involved to get her to the courtroom. I know that. Yeah, I know that part. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I know about that part. I was asking if there's this other piece to it. Price cameo believers, we can still win this. That's a very good attitude. Because I heard there might be like a cut scene, of Price or something. If you like play it back on AMC Plus, like in 3 weeks, it's like the Easter egg for people who don't delete their AMC Plus immediately. Is like if you check the finale in 3 weeks, at the end there's a cut scene of Price, and I'm not going to tell you what he's doing, but just it's quite it's supposed to be something. I love my women harder than men. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so does everyone who watches this show, I think. It was very fun to watch Kim go the way she went. I don't know how this person uploaded these episodes with captions. Like, these are built into the video. Like, I can't turn these captions off. But yeah, so is he genuine? This was so fun, the way they reference Chuck here.
You may have known him.
Oh, first of all, I was talking about this with UD Reviews. The judge doesn't know Chuck, right? Oh, I loved the Walter White scene. I thought it was really interesting. I loved how he called out Saul about like, he's like, just if you want to talk about regrets, just talk about regrets. I mean, first he's a curmudgeon. I get that that's part of his character. But yeah, then I love this part. Yeah, I have to respect that. I understand that he might have his character flaws, but I do have to respect that. And then, I mean, he decimates Jimmy. Or Saul or whatever. He just decimates him. And everybody talks about the line where he's like, so you've always been this way? And obviously I have to talk about that, you know, that's like crazy. And like, you know, it's meant to like, in some ways, either confirm or appear to confirm like the overarching verdict on Jimmy. But what was even a worse and most like more like catastrophic line was this.
Fraud. I mean, I could have sunk my teeth into this.
You'd have been the last lawyer I'd have gone to.
Yeah, sure.
That is the exact analog of Chuck saying to him in a very calm way with his hand on his shoulder, the truth is, I've never really cared that much about you, or however he says it. Walt confirmed Neil deGrasse Tyson, motherfucker. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay. Sorry, I'm so fucking all over the place. So we were talking about this. Is this genuine? Well, first of all, yeah, it's very significant that she doesn't seem to she doesn't know Chuck. That shows how much time has passed. I mean,
Known him. He was an incredible lawyer.
That reminded me of Betsy. You're the kind of lawyer guilty people hire. Exactly. That was the culmination. So Walter in that scene culminated both the Jimmy verdict as like a slippery guy thing in like two different ways, I guess. Like, because he did it with the sort of like Howard Chuck side of the verdict, and then he did it the sort of like Betsy and who else? I don't know. There were other people who totally made comments like that. I made a compilation in like the first video, but I can't remember who they were. So he basically gutting lines. Yeah, he gutted him in two different ways, like in one scene. And honestly, it's painful to watch. I think I speak for everybody when I say that. This is very painful, seeing him say, yeah, sure. But you also realize that, Walter, I'm not on a nickname basis with him. Walter is so calm. He's because he's not trying to be mean. He's genuinely just doesn't give a shit about being nice. So he's just saying the truth, and that's hurtful because obviously Jimmy doesn't see there to be this boundary where he's only capable of. And you know, the sad thing is he's probably thinking, you know, a few years ago I was working on the Sandpiper case or blah, 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 you know. That was like his peak where he almost made it as a lawyer, and his brother, you know, prevented that, obviously. Not a great thing to do. All right, let's chill out for a second.
Remember, they worked real hard to get that just right.
To get what just right?
The swirl. What do you think?
Dude, that was a bummer. I want to sue the people who made that.
I forgot how intense he was in this scene. I want to sue the people who made that. I bet Bob Odenkirk is like improvising there.
Okay, yeah, that's
So let's.
right.
I mean, have you ever seen Apocalypse Now?
Yes,
Okay.
agreed.
Well, that exists in the same world with this. Which one are you going to look at?
Well,
now. Right. Every time.
One of my favorite endings to a show I've seen. The writers are just so good at tying everything together. 10 out of 10. I can't agree more. I mean, it's just, check this out.
First thing we do, take $6 million and build a time machine.
Where would you go first, huh? You look like a history buff, right?
Captain Florence's son just returned from overseas.
Well, that explains why you're trying to leave by the front door. You must be confused as to your...
I'm sorry. But that is so funny. Like, this account, like, I gotta give them mad respect for that. Oh my god, I can't even post because the Streamlabs is being weird. What? It says only channel subscribers of 5 minutes, but I'm the fucking guy. It's my channel. What do you mean, Streamlabs? I'm streaming. What? Okay, what? Fine. So I can't show you the link. Well, you can just search their ridiculously named... Oh, here we go. No, never mind. I can't get it for you. But they have a good account. Okay, so what else? Oh, check this out. Who felt like this? That's how I felt. I know that's how I felt. So funny that I can't sign into my own chat in Streamlabs. Okay, and then we had this. So let's check this out. This is a man named Bob Odenkirk. He was the star of Better Call Saul, so if you recognize him. I don't know if the quality is like, this is on my end or something. I'm not gonna like worry about it. So I don't know if anyone already watched this, but let's check out, oh, how did I feel about Marie's character role? So, yeah, so obviously, like, I didn't know, who Marie was. I knew who Hank was because he was in Better Call Saul. And I get that he was, FBI or some law enforcement. And so I didn't get what was going on at first. And I was confused about, like, why. Well, I guess do you know this better than I do? Like, so before we even get into like Marie and Hank and stuff, so just simply like, why did he want her to come out from staring at him through the double mirror? Like, what's the reason for that? Gene Parmesan. But yeah, it was the finale, like they just pulled out all the stops. They made it happen. Oh, the prison bus scene we definitely have to talk about. Yeah. This is what happens when you watch Better Call Saul without first watching Breaking Bad. Yes, that is a factual statement. You miss certain details. Now, ask yourself this. Don't you think it goes a pretty far way to understand, like, I don't get all the emotional detail and stuff of Marie. I don't know her as a character, so I don't, I can only have a superficial understanding of her and see her as, like, another person affected by Jimmy's life and stuff. Oh, nice, I got the chat big. Okay, cool, I can stop bitching or complaining about that. So yeah, no, I don't get all the details. I definitely miss things. That can't be denied. Can't be denied. He brought her out so he could get to the story about meeting Walter. Really? Okay, interesting. So he wanted to test his victim speech for effectiveness. Ooh, that's an interesting way to see it. Did you feel lost or confused with the references to Breaking Bad? Yeah, I mean, it's like I really didn't feel lost or confused because I'm fine not having a full understanding of, this character's backstory, like Walter or Marie. But yeah, I understand that, most people do. He needed a reason to give his speech, so he wouldn't have had a reason? Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Yeah. Maybe he wouldn't have had a reason. Oh, and it really put the pressure on. And then in addition to like calling out the prosecutor for being, for having never lost a case and stuff, putting the pressure on that way. Marie was there because they never really interact in Breaking Bad. Yeah, that's the sort of, I got the vibe that they probably had never talked before. Oh, Jacob Knighton giving $4.99. Thank you. I think you gave money to me last time too. Thank you for supporting the channel. But now if you watch Breaking Bad, you don't have the full context. If you haven't watched Better Call Saul, it's a two-way street. Oh, I gotta call everyone out in the chat. You're right. So all of you watched Breaking Bad without having first seen Better Call Saul? Are you kidding me? That is like, and you expect to like appreciate Breaking Bad, but Better Call Saul hadn't even like concluded yet? That is just wild to me. Okay, let's check out what Bob says, and this is on his Twitter.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
He says,
Leave me alone.
finale thank you from Bob Odenkirk, and that's him referring to himself as Bob Odenkirk. I love how this man uses social media. Okay, let's check it out. 5 million views. Damn. If he put this on like YouTube, he could get some good AdSense money. I'm going to give him a call and talk to him about that.
Hey there. Everybody's been asking me how I feel about saying goodbye to Saul Goodman and Better Call Saul, and I'm not good answering the question because it's frankly hard for me to look at that experience and even at that character too closely. It's too many moving parts and they fit together too beautifully, and it's a mystery.
Watch my videos. If any of you know Bob Odenkirk personally, just in a really chill way, just be like, hey man, you might like this video. No, but I'm just joking. But I totally get what he's saying. I get what he's saying, of course. I mean, there's a cognitive dissonance, like you just can't, it's your character, like it's hard to really analyze and break down. And you like kind of don't want to probably in certain ways. Maybe it's like a basketball player like learning all the statistics of like their shot or something. I don't know. Am I going to start Breaking Bad now that I'm finished? I am going to start Breaking Bad, not in the like immediate future, but in the relatively near future, I think. Maybe in, I don't know when, but I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm getting excited. Okay.
To me, how it even happened. Thank you for watching. I want to thank Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould for giving me the chance. I did nothing to deserve this part, but I hope I earned it over 6 seasons. The cast around me, Ray Seahorn, Michael McKeon, Jonathan Banks, Tony Dalton, Michael Mando, Patrick Fabian, and everyone else. I mean, Giancarlo Esposito. They all made me a better actor than I am.
He just saw his life flash before his eyes when he almost didn't remember Giancarlo Esposito's name. Literally, you see it, his life flash before his eyes. He's like, oh my God, I almost just died. Check it out.
Everyone else. I mean, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, see.
They all made me a better actor than I am just working with them or watching them work. It's been an unbelievable experience. I want to thank the crew in Albuquerque. These people are the most beautiful, sweet, hardworking pros ever.
Okay, dude, I get you're a nice guy. Is there going to be anything besides you being an awesome person? Like, stop being such a good person.
I'll never be around so many great people doing their jobs so well. I can't imagine it. God bless you guys for everything you did to make the show great. And the fans, thanks for giving us a chance. Because we came out of maybe a lot of people's most favorite show ever, and we could have been hated for simply trying to do a show.
No, that's a really, really good point. That's a really, really good point.
But we weren't. We were given a chance, and hopefully we made the most.
If you're all, big Breaking Bad fans, you probably know people who loved Breaking Bad who don't watch Better Call Saul, right? that's probably fairly common, I would assume.
Of it. Thank you for staying with us. Better Call Saul, closely observed, idiosyncratic story about a very unique guy. A little slow at times, but...
Dude, yeah, he is so funny. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna post my self-promotion for a second. Check out the side channel. We just hit 100 subscribers, but I'm not able to give it a custom URL right now. I don't know if that's a glitch, but I was so excited to hit 100 subscribers so I can give it a custom URL, and I can't, so whatever. So I kicked those people out of my life. Yeah, that's fair. Most people I know dislike Better Call Saul. I mean, most people fear Better Call Saul. You know what I mean? Better Call Saul is a state of mind that is too overwhelming for the common. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it is slow. It goes at a pace that obviously it's not everyone's aesthetic. It is my aesthetic. And I was making this observation. I think it was when I was on UD Review stream after the finale. But it seemed to me like the first scene with Walter and Jesse in their fucking vehicle. With Saul, the one we saw like 2 episodes ago, or what was that? Yeah, 2 episodes ago. That one seemed like what I imagined to be Breaking Bad vibes. I could be wrong. It was like a slapsticky sort of different vibe. And then the Jesse scene with Kim was very much Better Call Saul, slow vibes. And then this recent one with just Walter and Saul is definitely like slow Better Call Saul vibes in a lot of ways. Maybe it's a mix. I'm not, and maybe I'm stereotyping. Oh, Jaden using the emote. Hell yeah! Again, that was not made by a professional artist or anything. Surprisingly, I know it looks like holy shit, but yeah, no. Surprisingly, I just made that in Photoshop. 6:11. Okay, so it was 2 episodes ago. You are right. Okay, that's good. Let's get it. I am right in the chat. Okay, is he going to say anything in the last 10 seconds?
In the end, if you paid attention, it was about big things inside people.
Whoa, bro. I can't say that on YouTube. That's what Better Call Saul was about?
It was about big things inside people.
Really? I was watching a different Are you talking about that Instagram account?
And thank you.
Okay, no, that's I'm making fun, but I literally respect this man so much. Like, thank you so much, Bob, for not just like the show, but everything in your life. You've been so good. Mr. Show was like the best comedy show I'd ever seen, and pretty much still is. God, I wish that was Breaking Bad fast. And I don't know. The fast slow thing is obviously probably a false dichotomy in some ways, but that's just my way of sort of summarizing it, I guess. So, what else should we? Oh, did y'all see this? Someone posted in the anti-work subreddit on Reddit. I don't use Reddit much, but I saw this on the Better Call Saul Reddit. Someone posted, "Boss quit while I was on shift." So this is the anti-work Reddit, which is a pretty cool Reddit page as far as Reddit pages go. I was in the middle of my shift at a mall Cinnabon. Normally my manager works with me and my coworker, and he is usually a good boss. But lately he's been a no-show, and he just called me randomly and said to post the week's rotation by 3 and to find a new manager. I just feel like this is just a really abrupt dick move, and he had no right to put that responsibility onto me. And I absolutely do not get paid enough for this. You're so big, Chandler. Oh, that is so funny, Jaden. That's the funniest part of the whole, that's probably the funniest thing in Better Call Saul. The whole toilet shit. So again, this is in the anti-work. So some people really responded to this. So all the top comments are people understanding the joke because that's what's gotten upvoted by this time. But I read some where people genuinely didn't realize it was It was a joke, and they were like, wow, your boss sounds like a jerk. See, a lot of people just saying, what a sick joke. So, I know one more thing we can do. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's respond to some more comments, because I had some more I didn't talk about last time. Someone said, I enjoy how the Breaking Bad universe characters absorb traits and sayings from those around them. And they said that on this video. And I thought that was a really good point I wanted to talk about after, talking about the time machine stuff a little bit earlier. But, so obviously, Jimmy, you notice in that scene with Chuck, Jimmy, Chuck was reading a book called, it was called The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, which I kind of feel like I should read now. I wonder if there's some weird, sort of Easter eggs related to Better Call Saul in some way. Okay, there, I found the Chuck McGill scene. Nice. Okay, sick. Okay, let's pull that up. So yeah, you can see H.G. Wells, I think, at the end. Yeah, so right here. So has anyone read that book? Does anyone know if it pertains to the plot of Better Call Saul? I thought that would be something good we could sort of brainstorm. Wait, the book is elsewhere in the 6th season? Oh, shit. Watching your videos makes my day 10 times better. That is awesome. Wow. I put a lot of work into my videos. It's very awesome that I now have an audience for my art and my creative expression. I've never really had an audience like this before, this past 2 years, basically. So, and especially this past year. The book was in the pilot too. You want to know something crazy? The book probably was in the pilot, because if you didn't know this, y'all, this scene takes place the day before the pilot of Better Call Saul. And the way we know this is because Jimmy in the scene says something about getting the Financial Times. He's like, maybe I'll even get the Financial Times for you or something. And Chuck was like, oh, that'd be good. Or something like that. And then in the pilot, we can see Jimmy and Chuck, Jimmy says oh, I got the Financial Times or something. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, it's so full circle. It's so good. This scene was really painful. I know everybody's going to have very different feelings about this scene. I was talking with UD Reviews, and we had different feelings. I mean, everybody just emphasizes different aspects of the characters' personalities when they think about them. And sort of, is my audio good, by the way? I hope it is. I assume it is. Okay. People think about different things. So some people might see Chuck's rude sort of comment here and there as a license for Jimmy to do what he does.
When have you ever changed your path?
I think that's justified to say that.
Hey, think on it.
I don't think it's justified to leave. I think that's where Jimmy crosses the line. You want to be a dick to your sibling because they're being a dick to you, fine. But there are limits to it. Chuck is not, I don't know. I think it's okay to put boundaries between yourself and your family, but I think Chuck is pretty, Jimmy clearly wants to be there. This whole conversation starts because Chuck says you don't have to be doing this. I could get an employee to do this. And Jimmy wants to be doing it. So he doesn't want to not see Chuck. He just wants to see Chuck and then not talk to Chuck. And unfortunately, this scene just shows us how hard it was for them to even really, I guess, try at the same time.
Hey, think on it.
I just ordered the specific vintage edition of H.G. Wells. Can't wait to read it. That's fucking dope. Can't wait to hear about it. Let me know. Simply Snaps, you're ready? Nice. Okay. Yeah, you can hop on. We're going to have Simply Snaps on stream. Everybody go check out her YouTube. I will put a link in the chat. We looked at this. We're going to do a tier list later. It's It's gonna be fun. Comments, yeah, that's okay. We can save the comments for another time. There's this article too, but there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about. So let's. This line killed me. Oh wait, go bigger. This line killed me.
Think on it.
We always end up having the same conversation, don't we?
That's unbelievable. That's just crushing. Okay. 1 second. So let me figure this out. Got a lot of good content. That's one thing people say about my stream. They're like, "Wow, that's they got good content here." Okay, I'm gonna voice call you. So let's see. Hello. Hey, what is up? So yes, so you are not on the stream right now. I'm trying to be good about things, so I muted it so I can raise the volume and put you on, but I am on stream right now. So yeah, you're good to yeah, but good to talk with you. And yeah, so you're on the stream. So this is Simply Snap. So you make videos about things. You also just think a lot about Better Call Saul. Is that fair to say?
I do. I would say I think a lot about Better Call Saul, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's good because I do too. And I was wondering, what was your general feeling, I guess, about the finale?
Well, I guess we can start right here because
yes.
I just want to say I absolutely called this. I think I said it in your chat.
Oh, did you?
Last week before Waterworks, I said I called a Chuck flashback scene in 613.
Oh, hold on, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm still learning how to do this. Apparently, I didn't get your audio through right. Hold on. Sorry. I want to hear what you have to say, and I want everybody else to hear what you have to say. So speakers. Really, that's funny that people weren't hearing you. Okay.
I just unmuted and I heard me.
What? People do that sometimes. They say like, "Oh, no audio," or "It's muted."
It was probably like an older no audio because some people have like a minute-long delay.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. Okay. So you predicted Chuck being in it. I think is that what you mean? Chuck being in it specifically? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember your comment actually.
But I did say like, yeah, I think Chuck's gonna be in. I just couldn't and. I feel very vindicated specifically because I was listening to the Insider podcast with Peter Gould, the creator of Better Call Saul. Yeah. And he said actually when they broke the episode, and by that it's when the episode was like fully written and boarded and all they had to do was film it.
Yeah.
This scene was not in it. So
what does that mean?
Added this they added this scene later because they realized they needed it.
So they had already filmed it, or they went to record it then, you mean?
So the way this episode was filmed, the filming of this entire season was a little hokey because of COVID. And they actually broke the entire season almost a year before they even started filming, which is not how they normally do it. They normally do episodes as they go. So maybe while they're filming episode 3, they're writing episode 7. But they had the whole season done a year early. And while they were filming season 6 and episode 13 was done, Peter realized, we need Chuck.
Wow.
Like this episode is not complete. And like I feel like that really makes sense because I was just thinking like we need Chuck in this episode, So the fact that they like realized that after writing it.
It's important to be flexible like that. It honestly makes me think of like, this is a random reference, but it makes me think of H Bomber Guy videos about like video games that are not made with like the flexibility you need when you're making art. Like the ability to just like adjust and do new things. And I forget which one he did, but it was about some video game where like it was too bogged down in other stuff. So it was like they didn't adjust where they needed to. And something like this, I mean, it's a big production, obviously, I'm sure millions of dollars and everything, but like you have to be able to adjust, do new things or something like that when you realize it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good description for so much art. Because, tragically, when art is created for a bottom line and profit, that's what's most important. And it's not cost effective to realize in the middle of filming something, hang on.
Yeah.
So like, and it's why is it like a BoJack Horseman line? I haven't seen this show. I have to, but there's some line about like there's no happy ending in a serialization.
Oh,
because
really?
Yeah, like you don't get a happy ending in like a serialized format where you're releasing an episode every week, because as long as the ratings are up, they're not going to let you stop. And it's really shows like Better Call Saul that had the privilege of a dignified end. When it was time.
You think that because, I was talking to someone and I was like, oh yeah, Better Call Saul's ending, and they don't watch the show, and they were like, oh, that's good for the same reason that you're saying, because it's like, oh, like a lot of shows just go on too long and stuff like that. But I feel like could they even go on longer if they wanted to? I guess with the medical stuff that happened on set and everything, I get the vibe they're all like we needed it to end in a good way. Do you think I'm making that up, or like I'm totally just projecting?
That's a really good question, and honestly, we can kind of use this to segue into a little more of the stuff we were talking about before the stream, because where could they possibly have gone from here? Let's say things didn't blow up like they did. Let's go back right before plan and execution, so they haven't ruined everything yet, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen. Howard doesn't die. Where do we go from here? If they hadn't gotten stopped like that, they would have a few weeks later, a few months later. So could Better Call Saul have gone for another season, another like 7, even 8? I don't think so. I think they burned too bright. I think Jimmy and Kim were on borrowed time. Like what more could have happened?
That's a really good point. I do love BoJack Horseman too. I meant to say that when I was responding. Yeah, I think I've watched all of BoJack season 5, and it was really.
I really need to.
Yeah, it was definitely good. Really intense, really heavy, but really good. Yeah, that's interesting because I was just talking about the production of it, and you're so right. Like the plot of it too, there are just limitations, and it felt kind of crazy these last few episodes, but in a really good way. It was supposed to go off the rails like that, and I mean. I don't know anyone who's unhappy with the ending. I'm sure they exist, but
It's kind of just like these two forces that were so obviously coming to a head. They're gonna collide. Could you have postponed it a little bit longer? Of course. But the forces Jimmy was reckoning with, the cartel, the Salamancas, Mike, it was always going to be this way.
Yeah.
There was always going to be a moment where this ruined his life.
Yeah.
So like, also, we're talking about production. We can also talk about the in-universe limitations. It was already near the end of 2004 in season 6.
Right.
There wasn't that. How many more seasons could we have realistically fit into the like 3.5 years before we already know what Saul's doing?
Yeah. It's good. You want to have some gaps, don't you? Like, you sort of don't want it all explained. Yeah.
I don't think if it hadn't been this, if Hamlin, if he had gotten down to tie his shoes, or if his car had broken down and he hadn't made it to the apartment and he hadn't died that night, they would have done something destructive enough to ruin their lives 3 months later.
Yeah,
and then Kim still would have left Jimmy.
So when she dumped him, she said she was worried about him actually breaking up the relationship if he realized Lalo was alive, or just hiding from their lives and not. Does he say that or does she say that she thought he would break up their relationship?
That line really shocked me. It's because she's talking about everything that would have happened, what Jimmy would have done if he had known. and she says, and you would have made us stop the scam, and we would have broken up.
She does
That's
say
what
that.
she says.
Yeah.
It's very vague. I interpreted it immediately as I would have broken up with you if you had stopped the scam. But I think another way to read it is, I think there are two other ways to read it. One, she might have been afraid that Jimmy would have broken up with her to protect her if he thought Lalo was coming back.
That would be the only way. I just want to interrupt. He would not be like, oh, we're bad for each other. Like, never.
That's the only way he would ever leave her.
Yes.
A third way is perhaps if they had stopped the scam, if the fun and games had gotten cut short, maybe she would have realized they needed to stop.
Right.
I think because she said, but I didn't want to.
Because
I was having too much fun.
Right, and I think you're totally right that she probably, even if she didn't say it that way, it makes more sense that she would have been afraid that if they stopped the scam, she would end the relationship. It just doesn't make sense to me any other way, but who knows, But.
Yeah, I just think, like, she kept going in deeper. She went from season 2 Kim saying, I can't hear about this kind of behavior, to honestly pushing Jimmy far beyond his own comfort zone.
Yeah, clearly, yeah.
And I think she realized this is it. Because where do we go from here other than just killing people? And they're not murderers. No. So, like, how could you? And they were clearly seeking a thrill. They were seeking a high. They were seeking that feeling. Remember, Jimmy says to her when she was worried about being caught, being followed, he's like, listen, you got away with it. This is a normal feeling.
Right.
When you get away with it, you think it's too good to be true.
That's a
He's
great
talking
line.
about being on cloud 9, But a high is fleeting, always. So what would they have done after this? It wouldn't have been enough. It couldn't be. But where would they have even gone?
So he says that thing to her. Is that after which aspect in the scam?
That's after after
the Kettleman?
the car. That's after the car.
Oh, okay, right, the car. Yeah, the whole stealing the car and her being with Cliff. That was a horrible. That whole part of the plan was when I was like, this is already going off the rails, because it's so clear that Cliff would be able to put 2 and 2 together. Who was he at lunch with? They don't have lunch every week. And right. Yeah. And so I think that's what you see in season 6 though, is the slipping of both of them, I guess. Like not in a like doing unethical behavior way, but in a doing unethical behavior poorly way.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really because, come on, the sign, when he moves the sign, you've talked about this on multiple streams and in your video. the how could he have possibly gotten away with it? A lot of people call it like a contrivance, like, oh, it's just blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. I think it was very realistic, because it's showing how goddamn unlikely this was to work and how irresponsible they've been and how this would not work twice.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
They need to stop.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
They can't keep doing this.
Let me pull up what you sent me today, which was the...
Right.
In my opinion, that is definitely not the last time she's going to see him, quote. Or what is that from again?
So some context. Ray Seahorn, the actress who plays Kim, was asked basically about her opinion of the ending, and we have a bunch of clips, but this is just text. You can read it, or I can.
Sure, no, go for it. Yeah.
So Ray Seahorn, talking about the finale, says, in my opinion, that is definitely not the last time she's going to see him. But I know Peter wanted to write an ending, and he masterfully did that. When the screen goes black, it's not just that there will be people who think one thing over the other. It's that people will continue the story in their head, that it's a story that is still on the trajectory that is going. There may be a different opinion about which direction it is going, but it's such a smart ending because it really honors the larger philosophical questions that the show raises about actions and consequences and nature versus nurture. How about that? and morality and unconditional love. It's
Wow.
fascinating that that's how she describes
That's
their
so
love.
good. That is so well put.
I'm still thinking about the ending and what it means. I just happen to be a hopeless romantic, so I don't know. But I think she's absolutely going to try to figure out how to reduce his sentence. I don't know if they're ever going to live happily ever after, but I think she loves him, and I think she intends to help him, but on the up and up.
Right, right. Of course, on the up and that's actually an interesting detail that she says on the up and up. Yeah. Cause like someone could say, no, I believe she goes bad again. But so I guess she's implying he's not wanting to go against the grain in a legal sense anymore. Also,
I mean, we could certainly move on to that subject of your very first video, I believe, your first Better Call Saul video, which is,
which is
can
basically my
people
first video.
Right. The question you ask, it didn't answer in the video, is can people change?
Yes.
What do you think after this finale?
Yes. Well, I have always thought that people can change, but the question of, and this is something I'm going to talk about more in the next video that I'm struggling with in a script, but like, did Jimmy change? You're asking specifically, did Jimmy change?
Can Jimmy change?
Can Jimmy
change?
I think it's such a bad answer, but it's like, it depends on what can means, because it's like, does it like...
It sure took a lot.
Like in another universe, or like if Chuck was different to him, if he did this, if he did that, like what are we supposing is different when we say, can he change? Or do I think a prison sentence is going to do it for him? I mean, it's certainly going to help. He needed consequences. I think we all need consequences to change. I think everybody can change. I think you just need consequences that you can perceive and understand and make sense of and stuff. But as far as like, yeah, I mean, he wasn't incentivized to really ever, is sort of my answer. So he didn't,
What I think is so fascinating to kind of build on that, though, is he was actively incentivized to not change in this episode, but he did anyway. He was incentivized with a 7.5-year prison sentence to keep being a bastard, but he didn't.
Yeah.
That has to mean something, like...
Let's look at that, because I was playing it before and then I stopped it, and it'll be good to watch with you. I don't think I've rewatched it really. Why am I missing? So it's like where he speaks. So you're saying he changed. Actually, we don't even have to, because you're saying irrespective of whether he's genuine or not or whatever. Because I could say him bringing Chuck up is a little odd, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I think, and we can certainly hash this out. But when he confesses what he did, he essentially says, "I killed Chuck. I drove Chuck to the brink." And whether or not that's true, whether or not that is ethically on him, he is accepting his part in it. And when he goes back to the stand, when he goes back from the stand, Oakley incredulously is like, "Why did you even say that last part? That wasn't even a crime."
Right.
And Jimmy says, "Yes, it was."
Right.
So like, you're asking if he's genuinely changed. I think he has, at least a little.
I think at least a little for sure, and I'm not trying to be too hard on him. I do think at least a little for sure. I mean, I think it's sort of a question of like, why is this the first we've ever seen him? Of course, I don't think he's responsible for Chuck's death as far as the majority of the responsibility goes, but it's a normal thing that anyone would struggle with in his position in that situation, and so. Why have we never seen him struggle with it up until now when it helps him publicly? I'm not trying to discount everything about what he's doing. I just think it's like, I think it's a deeper, I guess, comment from the show about how like even in a performance that's self-interested, you can also be like doing something that's healthy for yourself and good for other people. I don't know. I guess I'm sort of just rambling.
And like, you don't have to answer this directly, but have you ever repressed things? Have you ever decided not to be bothered by something?
Sure.
And like, it's been 8 years since Chuck died, right? And he's never felt this. And do you think, as a mental health professional, it's not possible that in such an enormous boiling point of emotions, he didn't kind of just throw that Chuck thing in, because he has finally opened himself up to the point where he's even capable of processing it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's coming out now.
Yeah. And
I the
love
dam
the guy.
has burst, so to speak.
Yeah, I feel for him, and I think I mean, let's see.
Got his malpractice insurance canceled. I took away the one thing he lived for.
I think maybe it's like a comment about how you just have to have faith in people, because it's indistinguishable, this from his insincerity, if this is sincerity. I think it's almost like there are times when he's clearly meant to seem like you're meant to be able to tell that he's full of shit, but there are other times where you're meant to not know. And I think that just, I don't know, that says something, that the show fools you in that way and says basically, if you want to believe in him, but sometimes you just can't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly think we're even getting into the weeds, which, you know, is my favorite place, the weeds. I could spend hours here, but like bigger picture, I'm certainly of the mindset that actions speak louder than words, and we can look at his words and we can dissect all of them, and we can what does it even mean to have a non-selfish motivation to do something?
Right.
Like, those are the questions I love.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the questions that are raised by this show, I think, also, and that's why it's so good. Yeah.
It was very selfish bringing Kim here. He manipulated her. He lied about. She thought she was going to jail. We have no idea what he said about her, but it was bad enough. It was incriminating enough that the DA called her as a courtesy to let her know that he said something about what she did involving Hamlin.
And he knew they would, and it was all part of his gesture to get her there.
Yeah,
it was honestly kind of romantic.
Right? I mean, when he goes like, I told a lot of lies to get her here today. Like, she does not look mad.
I'm trying to find the line.
Fact is, Walter White.
Oh, wait. Why
do you think he says it's showtime when he's in the courtroom? Well, the real answer is it's a callback to episode 1, Uno. It's the first thing he says in the series before he goes into court to defend the 3 boys who had sex with a decapitated head.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Why did he say it? Because it's just a thing he says before court. And this is his last trial.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, and I'm going to steal that for my next video, because I forgot that it was in the pilot as well. But
it's his first line in the whole series.
That's amazing. Yeah, you have to make videos. I keep telling Simply Snaps, but you'll make some.
About it.
You'll make some. But so anyways, but it's obviously this, like, it's this performance thing too, and it's this, like, it's a deep part of who Jimmy is, that, like, performing, like, charisma and like success, that's enough sort of for him, and everything else comes secondary to that.
Well, this wasn't even a trial. It was like a performance.
Right.
He came here prepared to throw away his deal, make a stink, give one last public appearance as Saul Goodman, and hopefully win back the favor of Kim. That was the plan.
Yeah. Let me see if I got this line queued up where he says, the first thing he says when he goes under oath is that he lied to get her there, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The truth so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Goodman, you are now under oath.
So intense.
Any false statement you make can be used in prosecution for perjury or obstruction of justice. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. In the last 24 hours, have you used any alcohol?
Yeah, okay, no, he's sober.
I lied to the government about Kim Wexler.
That is such a baller line.
I mean, get you a man who is willing to set up kangaroo court, waste thousands of dollars of government funding, and all of the agents and lawyers and feds and cops and the judge. He is probably wasting tens of thousands of collective man hours just because he wanted to see his ex.
It's really, honestly, I was like almost tearing up. I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. And it means something to her too. Wait, let's play it back and let's look at her face too. I think it's the moment where she does start to come around. I could be. Do you think that's right? Or
yeah, I mean, he's finally being honest.
yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
I lied to the government about Kim Wexler.
Like his tone of voice is like, I lied to the government about Kim Wexler. Like, I hope it's not like a big deal, but like,
Your Honor, those are so good.
I was so happy that it was like a super courtroom heavy finale.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry if I'm talking over.
No. I realize I have to indicate to you if we're not screen sharing. There's no other way to do it. I have to.
Yeah, and I mean, feel free to screen share, but
I think
I'm
it would be.
yeah,
I think it would be tricky. I don't know. Maybe it would be the better way to do it, but I don't know. But I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So Chad, if I'm talking over a video, just I'll shut up in like 3 seconds when I catch up.
It's not on you. Yeah, I can tell you. But yeah, I loved how and someone did say in my chat on Monday like. This series started in a courtroom. It would be cool if it ended in a courtroom. And that was honestly probably the most accurate prediction I have seen anyone make. That was a really good way to put it, I think.
I consume the show in a slightly different way than you. I read all the interviews.
Right.
I read interviews. I listen to the Insider podcast. I want to know as much as I can without watching like theory videos or leaks or anything. But Bob Odenkirk on like Friday, I think, said that this series finale goes to the heart of the show. And I think that's when I got the inclination that this was going to be a slower, possibly even courtroom based episode.
Wow.
Because what's the best episode of Better Call Saul? Chicanery.
Sure. Sure.
And like we all love Mike, and we all love stuff blowing up, and we all love Bagman and the guns and Don Eladio. But at the end of the day, chicanery is the essence of this show, you know?
Yeah.
And like I really feel like and the creators even thought about this. Peter Gould said in the Insider podcast that they thought about blowing something up or having Gene get in a high-speed chase and like drive a car off a bridge, and it's just like, but that's not Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Like, it makes so much more sense that Gene would just hop into a dumpster and get unceremoniously arrested. And the mundane nature of it was so boring. You expect him to be like chained up like some ultra criminal, neck shackle, testicle handcuffs, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of sitting there in his Argyle sweater, like handcuffed just sitting there in the chair while they're watching his video. And then like he gets to make a phone call because like that's Better Call Saul. It's not, and I'm not trying to paint any rosy, beautiful picture of the U.S. judicial system. Like the show doesn't do like flashy. It's going to show you the boring part of getting booked as one of the most infamous criminals in the nation's history.
Yeah, and like him just pacing in his cell and then obviously maniacally laughing a little bit. Oh my
God. You're not going to get this, but I'll say it for Chad.
Yeah.
That was Bob Odenkirk's crawl space breakdown. Like when he started losing his mind laughing at the my lawyer's gonna fuck you, just like
my lawyer's gonna ream your ass, actually.
Ream your ass, yeah. And it's like I was trying to figure out where he was, but I realized I don't even think he knew where he was. He obviously came to the conclusion to call Oakley, but I can picture a large variety of emotions going through his head. Like, I used to be the reamer.
Yeah.
And like, what lawyer could defend me? What lawyer would defend me? I used to be the lawyer and now I need one. No one could save me. Like, who knows what he was thinking? but it
something
came
like
down
that. Yeah.
to a plan. And
Yeah.
why do you think he got Oakley? And that's what I've been thinking about all day.
Yeah.
Because he never told Oakley what was going on. He never informed him. It's like Oakley was a prop, a set piece. But why? What was he doing there?
He's clearly got a little like puppy dog sort of vibe towards Saul and Jimmy, in the sense that he, like, I was talking to UD Reviews, she was calling them frenemies, which I think is true, even though you don't see like friendship, but you don't see Jimmy have friendship with fucking anyone. I mean, literally.
No.
Like, so like I mean, the time machine shit is like the only time he's like remotely like, is he trying to do friend stuff? Like, is that his version of friend stuff? Like, but yeah.
Yeah,
But,
and I mean, like, there was what was it, 603, 604, the last time we saw Oakley before all this, where he seems genuinely betrayed. Like, nobody's talking to Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
And then Jimmy's like, Bill, what the hell is happening? And he's like, listen, man, I get it. I get defending your client. I get that you're a sleazebag. I just can't believe you did this. And Jimmy seems genuinely upset that Bill is upset. He didn't get confrontational with anybody outside, but I do feel like there is a bit of a familiarity there.
Yeah.
Where like Bill Oakley doesn't like me. He thinks, but it's different. Because this is earlier Jimmy, unhealthier Jimmy. Bill Oakley thinks I'm small. Bill Oakley thinks I'm a criminal. He thinks I'm dirty. So he screams at him like, well, then prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of my favorite lines in the series is there's proving and then there's knowing.
I love that line too. Yeah.
That is why Saul Goodman was allowed to operate as a known criminal, because there's proving and then there's knowing. And he wasn't a proven criminal, but he was a known criminal.
Right. But I love your point, and that's sort of what I was saying too when I was talking to UD Reviews, which is that scene exactly. I think betrayal is the right word, and to feel betrayed, you have to have some sort of friendship or like some sort of positive recognition. Like, yeah, like Oakley was literally like, I can't fucking believe this shit. Like, I'm disgusted with you. And I think that's because he wanted to believe, like we do watching, that Jimmy could have his positive side win out against his negative side, I guess. But
I mean, Oakley is certainly like a POV character for the audience numerous times in season 6. Kind of for most of the finale, I think he's a POV character. Like, he has no idea what Jimmy's up to. He's just kind of reacting.
Yeah.
And I think you could even make the argument in that scene that he's a POV character where we kind of can't believe what Jimmy is doing.
Yeah.
And like, we're kind of like, you know, I get it. I get that you got a cute act going on. You're like, you're a lawyer that does bad things, but like, this guy's a murderer, and you got him off, and you know what he did.
Yep.
Like,
there's like different levels of bad, you know, and it's like it's like a boundary. It's like, hey, I thought we had,
Yeah, everybody deserves a fair trial. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But with Jorge de Guzman, there's proving and then there's knowing. And they knew Jorge de Guzman killed that kid. Yeah. You know? And like, the fact that Jimmy not only just did his job as a lawyer.
Right.
Jimmy is not like some pro bono public defender that gets assigned clients. Like, Jimmy took on Lalo by choice.
Right.
So not only did Jimmy choose to defend Lalo, he went out of his way to get Lalo off, above and beyond.
He chooses to defend him right after he gets married to Kim, doesn't he? Like, Nacho calls him like right after, I think. He's like leaving the courthouse. Yeah.
And like, that's why the first like big thing he tells her is like that he's going to be the bag man. And that was the time Kim kind of pushed back. I don't think she would have in season 6.
No. She would have pushed the opposite way, but she also wouldn't have really I was gonna say she wouldn't have pushed back before, but I guess she I don't know. Did she push back more early on in their relationship or less? I guess more, but had less serious stuff to push against. So, wait, let me just play this line really quick because this is the line that Jimmy says in the courtroom that made me sort of think it was a little less sincere. Okay, so let's check this out.
I should have. Instead, Your Honor, Bill, please, just let me get through this.
I get that could be said in a totally sincere way or an insincere way. But it was the sort of thing I thought, is the show trying to tell me that he's saying, let me get through this like it's rehearsed? Or maybe it's rehearsed, but it's sincere at the same time.
Hang on, I'm watching it right now. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
I don't know. I don't read that as it was rehearsed. I think Bill is freaking out because this is not what they rehearsed. Mm-hmm. He keeps interjecting, and Jimmy's just like, Bill, please.
Yeah, but like, I mean, when he says, let me get through this, you don't feel like that means like I sort of am planning this to say type of thing, or no?
I mean, we conceded at the beginning of this that this was all one big scripted performance on his part. I don't think that means it wasn't genuine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know if he's capable of just bearing his soul without thinking about what he's going to say.
That's fair.
Or I don't know. And is Jimmy like some awesome guy now? No. But I do think they took great lengths. They went through, and Peter Gould actually referred to this episode as like spiritually kind of like a Christmas Carol, because they used 3 dead characters to show you that Jimmy is incapable of change. They use Mike, then they use Walter, then they use Walter White, and then they use Chuck.
Yeah.
So like Chuck, you could say, is the past, Mike is the present, and Walter White is the future. Yeah. And these three ghosts kind of show you what Jimmy is incapable of. All 3 of those scenes in a series finale, they quote unquote wasted over like 15 minutes doing the same scene 3 times with different set dressings. Jimmy talks, Jimmy shoots up a conversation, the conversation gets a little too real, and Jimmy pulls away. Mm-hmm. And then the other person realizes that Jimmy is just not capable or not willing to be that sincere with them.
Yeah.
And it offends them. I use the word offend because I think it hurt Chuck, kind of like put off Mike.
Yeah.
And I think it just like kind of disgusted Walter or annoyed Walter. I don't know if
I think disgusted is definitely a fair word.
Yeah, like, so you've always been like this, you know? But all 3 of them were like, they were sincere in their own ways. Mike genuinely talked about, in an indirect way, he talked about Matt, his dead son.
Yeah.
I believe the date he mentions in 2001, although I don't think we have confirmation of this. That's 1 year before the show starts, and we know Matt died a year before the pilot. So I think he was gonna say, I'd go back in time and save my son. But then he goes even further back to the first time he took a bribe. That is some very personal stuff from Mike.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Mike was capable of that. But after spending like 2 days in the desert with this guy, and after Jimmy risked his life for Mike, I think Mike was actually willing to like open up and maybe have some kind of friendship with Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy was just like, it's all about that green, baby. And Mike was like, yeah, okay.
I look up to Warren Buffett. Like, it's like, oh, great. Get to know, man. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not shocked.
So, yeah, like the Mike one is a little complicated, but with Chuck and Walt, it's very clear. Like, Chuck extended an olive branch and was just like, hey, will you sit and talk with me? Because he's probably so lonely.
And and it's just, it's what you would do. Like, you're coming to bring over groceries, like, why wouldn't you? Like, it's just such a normal social thing.
And then Jimmy is like, Why would I want to? What could we possibly talk about? And Chuck tries to suggest a few things. We could talk about your clients, which I think he actually meant. I think he actually meant we could talk about your clients. But Jimmy reads that as what? So you can like look over my shoulder and tell me everything I'm doing wrong.
Right.
Like,
and I think he's just like he's justified, I guess, or like I get where he's coming from, but it's still totally unhelpful. And justified isn't the right word, honestly, because it's like it's reasonable for him to sort of think Chuck would be judgmental because Chuck has been. But at the same time, like, when you're family, like, you have to be willing to extend that olive branch back. And it's not just when you're family, but that's sort of the beginning of it.
No, Ray D. It was about his son, but he hadn't disclosed that to Jimmy yet. No, he hadn't. I think the conversation might have gone there.
Right.
If Jimmy had been willing to have it.
Right. I mean, the funny thing is Jimmy brought up the time machine in like a very like sort of relaxed, fun way, and then Mike was immediately like, "My son's death." I'm like,
and then like with Walter didn't want to be his friend, but like Walter did kind of bare his soul a little. He talked about his biggest regret in life. You learn a little more about that in Breaking Bad, but honestly, that's the whole scoop.
Okay.
Like, he started a company called Gray Matter with his best friend and girlfriend.
Okay. It wasn't Amazon?
No. Okay. He started a company with his best friend and fiance, I believe. And then, for reasons that are never very clear in either show, he got insecure and left her. And then the two of them got married and became billionaires. And Walter views that as his biggest regret in life. And he was talking to Jimmy about it.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was just like, And it's so...
Yeah, what did he say, actually, in response
so
to it?
his biggest regret in life is when he was slipping Jimmy and he did a bad fall, and he busted his knee. He always says, I got bad knees. He busted his knee. And he said, my knee's never been the same again. And Walter realized this man's biggest regret, not really, but the biggest regret he is claiming as his biggest regret is some superficial, I scammed and I messed up and I hurt my knee. And Walter's just like, okay, so we're not having a moment here. You're not being sincere with me. Because that can't be your biggest regret in life.
I will say, I had a slightly different read where I saw it as Jimmy, he does seem to, I'm sorry, Saul. He does seem to be attempting to open up, but if he had...
I think he was.
Yeah, but I also mean like, that could be a real regret if he was someone who introspected more. You start there, you say, I fell down this time, and then you actually make sense of it. You say what it means. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just that. It's my whole life. And it's like, and my regret is that tipped me off on this way, blah, blah, blah. And so if he had wanted to go deeper with it, obviously he could. But actually, I was just saying, how did he respond immediately? Like, immediately to what Walt said? And to be fair, Walt finishes by saying, I wouldn't be down here with you. So he's not looking for, like, support. But it is interesting how Jimmy responds. So let's just check this out. Or how Saul responds,
So you started a company. Is it still around?
He gets the details, and then he says that he could have been the lawyer. So, I don't know. Maybe he's being friendly, and it's a normal human response. But it does seem like he's trying to also be like, let's make it a business thing, or let's make money from it, which, I don't know. Again,
it could also be him clamoring for any way to be useful.
Which is totally fair. And that's like the intertwinedness of like, just wanting to be a good person and wanting to also like, get the better of other people. It's like, they don't really go together well. And he sort of has both of those. He wants to be liked, but it's like, this is not the route to that. So that's why I say you can only have one first priority type of thing.
I mean, Walter, and trust me, like, when you watch through Better Call Saul again after watching Breaking Bad, it's so funny that Walter is like the ethical straight man of this scene, judging Jimmy.
Right. I get that.
Because when Walter didn't get kicked out of that company, he left because he felt insecure.
Right.
So like, So honestly, he sits there and his biggest regret is pathetic. Walter has killed, he has committed sexual assault, he has gotten hundreds of people indirectly killed, he has orchestrated dozens of hits, he has spread crystal meth across the entire continent, leading to more drug-related addictions and deaths. And his biggest regret is that he got his fifis hurt and left the playground. It's pathetic.
But I also want to say this is again the sort of like intertwinedness of like selfishness and altruism, because you do get this slight sense that part of the reason he has this sort of selfish regret is because he realizes not only would he not be down here with Jimmy living a horrible life, but he wouldn't, quote unquote, have to be doing this, or he probably feels like I imagine he gets the sense of like, I wish I wasn't on this path. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I get that I'm doing harm. It's not enough to make him stop, and I'm not saying this justifies or anything, but I imagine that part of where he's coming from is like, I wish I wasn't on this bad choice road type of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it came on just in time to catch the Walt slander.
Hey, criticism, we're not canceling Walt, okay? You can criticize.
I'm canceling Walter White. There are some very concerning tweets from 2009 and 2010.
I'm not going to buy his
should
next
disqualify
album.
Walter.
So should we check out any of those? You found these cool clips from, where are they from exactly?
So the Better Call Saul Insider podcast, started by Kelly Dixon, who was an editor for Breaking Bad all 5 seasons and the first 3 seasons of Better Call Saul. She always has Peter Gould or Vince Gilligan and some actors from the show on. They did a podcast episode for all 63 episodes. So like if you're curious about any of them, you can go and listen to the insiders talk about production.
Wait, hold on. How many of those have you listened to?
Many. All of season 6.
That's
so
sick.
all of season 6 and then a bit of season 5, chicanery, obviously. So the invaluable part is Peter Gould, the creator of the show. And I know Vince Gilligan co-created it, but really Vince stopped having a direct hand on the show after like season 2.
Oh, okay.
And like Peter's kind of like Saul's dad, in the sense that Peter wrote Better Call Saul, the Breaking Bad episode. Peter invented Saul Goodman and co-created the show Better Call Saul with Vince.
Wow.
So in the Insider podcast, you always get to listen to Peter talking about his insights. And I find it very interesting to see what he thinks. And I think you're ready to play a few clips I grabbed from the 613 episode, which has Peter and Bob Odenkirk talking about the ending and honestly answering some of the questions we've been like going back and forth on. You know,
we did that intentionally.
Like, has Jimmy changed?
Yeah.
Is this a happy ending? Like, these are about as definitive of answers as you're going to get, because while they set out to have it be vague, the death of the author, if you will, Peter Gould did not write this into the story. He's just saying it on a podcast. So it's not canon. It doesn't have to be. But I do think it's some very good insight onto what they were thinking while writing the text, you know?
Does it have any more validity to it than like J.K. Rowling being like, oh, by the way, like these characters were gay or something like random?
Well, these are in official multimedia releases days after the episodes and not tweets 6 years later.
I'm being a dick. Like I want to listen to them and I find this stuff fascinating, but I'm like so defensive. Like I don't want to like hear things that it's like, no, that's not what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why I say like death of the author, you know? Like honestly, Peter Gould has no more say over Better Call Saul than you do anymore. It's done.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna tell him that.
It's a wrapped package, you know?
So let's check out the first one. Bob on Gene's. Oh, so first one's Bob Odenkirk.
Yes.
So let's listen to Bob talk about genes and self-destruction. Everybody listen to this. It should play well. Let me make sure I can look at the audio. All right, let's check this out.
Yeah, I mean, you do what the script tells you to do, but you try to justify it, and you try to, the Jimmy McGill that I'd played for years was a guy who I don't think would kill an old person. As it turns out, he doesn't, but would even have a hard time with that idea. It wouldn't be an easy thing for him.
And of course he doesn't. Thank God. Because that would be completely irredeemable.
I think what justifies it for me, the place that he goes to, is he's kind of backing himself into this corner intentionally. He almost wants to blow up his situation because he can't. It's untenable to stay in hiding. And yet when he gets to that juncture, he realizes like, oh, I'm just fucked. I can't believe I did this. Can I turn it back? And he can't turn it back. And he kind of secretly wanted it to happen, and he knows that. And that sense of
I find it very interesting that he says Jimmy is very emotionally intelligent.
When did he say that? I might have missed that. At the beginning or just now?
You played Bob on Gene's self-destruction, right?
Yeah, I might have. We didn't play it all the way through, actually, though.
Ah, damn.
No. Let me keep playing it. Hold on.
Has been the bane of the effort of building his world and the tensions of his world to some extent, because the character is very emotionally intelligent about everyone. Maybe less so about himself.
Yeah.
Did you finish it now?
He probably knows all this stuff, but he hides from it.
So
he said he's emotionally intelligent, but not about himself, basically. Yeah.
Right. And I just find that a very interesting insight. So like we actually talked about this in your Discord server, which you just plugged in your chat. We talked about this a little bit before 613 aired, where I directly described it as Gene's self-destruction. Yeah. So I felt very vindicated when Bob Odenkirk was like, first of all, something Bob has been saying in like interviews and other media for years now is that like Gene's situation is untenable. He has nothing to live for. So it explains why he broke bad again. But then the question was, when it was finally time to face the music, you can come up with 100 different reasons about why he didn't attack Marion and why he let her press the button. But I think the most compelling one is that I think part of him wanted it to be over.
Yeah.
I think part of him wanted to get caught, but he's a survivor. So when she pressed the button, he was willing to do anything to get out of it.
Right. Well, I don't think he could live with himself if he sat there like a sitting duck and just waited for it, even though he did end up doing that in a trash can.
Right. So
he had to try for his own ego, but he let her push it, but he also let her decide if she wanted to push it, as I feel like
right.
I look at it sort of.
And that's kind of like the childish side of Jimmy, where like sometimes you look at him and it really feels like you're looking at like a 5-year-old. And I don't mean that as an insult.
No.
I mean like when he tells Kim he loves her, he goes like, hey, guess what? I love you.
Yeah.
It really feels like a 6-year-old trying to make you smile while you're crying.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a great way to put it.
It's just sad. It's sad. And like, I think when Marion said, you betrayed me, he kind of looks at her with the big puppy dog eyes and he lets go of her life alert as if to say, oh, all right, you can do it, but like, I don't want you to. And like, it's sad. Yeah. And then, born survivor, he's not going to go down easily. So of course, La Cucaracha, a survivor.
Is that what cucaracha means?
It means a cockroach, I think.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's why when Lalo sees the cockroach in the sewer in 607, he goes to Jimmy's place.
Oh.
And so if that cockroach had not been there, Howard would have lived.
Wait. Say it again. Say it again.
So in season 5, when Kim goes to Lalo, he goes like, "Your husband, he's like the La Cucaracha, a survivor." So he compares Jimmy to a cockroach.
Right. And then what was the later thing that you said?
And then in Plan and Execution, when he realizes that Hector's phone has been bugged and he doesn't know what to do, he sees a cockroach in the sewer. And what does he do but go to Jimmy's house?
What? Where did you figure that out on your own, or did you read that somewhere?
Yeah, I noticed it when I was watching because I just have I have like hyperfixation brain.
Well, I mean, no, it's good, and like that's how this show's supposed to work. Like it has all these details, and like you can pick up on some or you cannot. I mean, this is sort of how I feel with like certain Breaking Bad details. It's like you don't pick up on it, you still appreciate everything else going on in the show. It's like you don't pick up on why he looked at the cockroach, but you still get why he would go there. But that's just so cool. I mean, that's also like Jimmy seeing the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men. And then coming up with his whole differently colored suits thing that he does at Davis and Maine. That's, you know, the show loves doing that. Like someone just sees something and it gives them an idea.
and like you could totally watch that scene and just think of ignore the cockroach. It's just sewer set piecing. And he's thinking and he's going somewhere and he shows up at Jimmy's. And it's exactly like you said. It's not necessary. But they respect the audience enough to where the keen observer, and I'm sure there's things I missed, like everybody.
Yeah.
But they left so many things to let you feel smart, you know? And like the whole thing with Nacho figuring out he's being watched, that was done completely without dialogue, you know, in the motel room.
Yeah.
When he's how he uses like
what does he do again? Yeah, how does he figure out he's being watched?
I forget what he does. Like, doesn't he use like a reflection or something?
I feel like that definitely sounds right. I just can't remember exactly what it was. Someone in the chat will tell, I'm sure.
You don't even realize what he's doing until he realizes he's being watched. And
he's
the fact
at the
that
window, he's looking at in like a corner of the window. No, that's towards the end of it. I don't know.
And that whole scene, and then he like jumps out the window and then he sneaks inside and they exchange like 3 words. And the guy's like, I don't know who hired me. I just get paid. Yeah. So Nacho calls Gus's men, and then 3 seconds later the watchman gets called. Yeah. And none of this is dialogue. It's just you are putting the pieces together.
Yeah. And I think that's right at the end of the episode too, where he shoots him and everything.
It's so great. And I mean, no, so for sure, like I think the moral of the story is that cockroach is ethically responsible for Howard's death.
Right, and no one else.
Yeah. If it just hadn't been for that damn cockroach, I say we deem it, we can name this phenomenon. Let's call it the cockroach effect.
Yeah.
Where the chaotic nature of the universe is as such that one cockroach walking in the Albuquerque sewer can cause a Howard Hamlin to get shot in the head 12 hours later.
And I hope that they eventually do a follow-up episode where the cockroach is on trial, because I thought that was really missing from this episode.
I want to say bravo, Vince, but like with so many open-ended questions that we deserved the answer to. How did Jimmy get his Cadillac? How did he buy the Statue of Liberty from the Kettlemans? What happened to the cockroach? Like, it just takes me out of it.
So we're getting some chat. We're getting some chat to answer the question. He opened the door while looking out the window. He figures it out while seeing a reflection in the gap in the wood. Sees an air conditioner dripping. You're all saying different things.
It's something, all right. We can all just say bravo, Vince.
But the 5-minute silent scenes, there are so many throughout this.
Love it.
And it's so amazing. Yeah, so dramatic.
What happened to Jeff? That's a fun question. I think it all depends on whether or not they can tie Jeff to Gene. And they probably can.
Right.
Jeff might be going to prison for a while.
Oh, right. Interesting, because otherwise, and that was another great detail in the show. The fact that the cops were just there to eat food. Like they were just like that is classic Better Call Saul. Oh my god.
And Jeff just showed he could not take the heat.
What is it? I'm gonna probably use this in my video, but like only the wicked flee when no man pursueth.
Yeah, the wicked flee when
Jeff fleed.
Jeff did indeed flee.
Oh
my goodness.
I want to ask you, and then I probably want to take a quick bathroom break and beer refill before we listen to the next clips. But I want to ask you, Jimmy's 86-year sentence. I know that you are politically probably somewhat close to where I am. So Jimmy's 86-year sentence. Is that justice or not? What do you think?
That is such a question. I mean, honestly, I don't think most people deserve being subjected to the humanities of the American prison system.
Yeah.
Like the prison industrial complex. I mean, the 13th Amendment clearly states that slavery shall be abolished in all cases, but as punishment for a crime. So if you ask me why we have so many prisons and why in like 47 states we have more prisons than colleges, it's because we just had to add a few extra steps to slavery. And and obviously there's not a racial implication with Jimmy, but like I just feel like I don't subscribe to the belief, and I doubt you do either, that punishment is a deterrent.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it's shown to be.
I don't think it's an effective deterrent, and I mean there are many studies that agree with me, but like anyone can say that. So, but moving on, I just feel like prison should not be used as a tool to punish. I don't believe it should be used as a tool to deter. I believe the only function prison should serve is removing the absolute worst of our population from the general population to a place where they can no longer cause harm to innocents. And that's really all prison should be. It's a place to put unsafe people so they can't hurt us.
Yeah.
And if you delude yourself into thinking it's anything other than that, I don't know. Is Jimmy unsafe? Yes. Can he be allowed to continue roaming the world? No. Certainly not yet. Like, inconsequentially, might he become a better person while in prison and then be safe enough to be outside when he gets out? Sure, but do you think it was the prison bars?
I mean, it's so funny because when the prosecutor started with a 30-year sentence, my immediate reaction was like, you know what, that seems pretty fair. like to me, it just, I guess I'm like a Fed or something, but I was like, yeah, that honestly feels right. Like, okay, he did really bad things a lot. And like, I don't like the idea of someone being locked up for 30 years. So I think I don't stand by that. I think that was just my initial reaction. I like that there are some countries where there are like limits to how long you can be in jail. Cause I really think at a certain point, there's no way of knowing that the person is still unsafe unless you have evidence from their behavior in prison. It's not like time is some, reliable indicator of someone's rehabilitation, but he is clearly unsafe because even we could look at it and say, well, he seems sincere and so on, but obviously the justice system can never function that way.
I do believe in consequences for actions, although I do feel like there's kind of this like Western view of like punishment and becoming deserving of like forgiveness. Like you need to be cleansed by like purifying flames of suffering and solitude. And I don't necessarily think that's the only path to rehabilitation.
Right.
And I certainly don't think throwing society's most, shall we say, aggressive, confrontational, certainly abused, poorest people into a cage together subjecting them to inhumanities, feeding them garbage, and not letting them leave, it does not breed anything but recidivism, in my opinion.
No, in fact, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like all it does is keep people in prison longer. Which is a great business model if your prison is a business, like many are.
So for me, the question is always like, you have your ideal goal society, but then you have the current society. And so what way of using the power that exists would take us closer to the ideal society? And so, like, I don't know. I mean, this is not my specialty, but like,
for sure.
If Jimmy was allowed to, I don't know, maybe there's a period of incarceration and then like a shorter period, a year or something, and then you're just supervised, like, parole and shit. There's obviously a lot of issues with that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, he needed to obviously be supervised, and then like you'd be giving up your freedoms, your privacy and stuff like that, but you'd be not incarcerated. So there's just like using less power to try to not oppress people, obviously. Yeah.
And like, what is the ideal solution? I certainly don't know. And we're not going to solve it here, but I think my spitball right now is changing the public's opinion on prisoners.
Yeah.
Because there's been a very successful messaging campaign over the last, check my notes, forever.
Yeah.
That if you're in prison, you probably deserve it, and you deserve anything.
Well,
they have no one in their corner.
Yeah.
So like, did you know that in several states, it's actually the sheriff's discretion? The sheriff's department gets a food budget allowed to them by the county. And then it's actually the sheriff's discretion how much of that they spend on food. And the sheriff is literally allowed to pocket that money, literally in his own wallet.
Yeah.
And just buy the inmates corn dogs.
Yeah.
There is a documented case of a sheriff buying a used car lot to own and profit off of himself as a private individual with prison food money.
Yeah. It reminds me of, I honestly didn't really know that, but it's unfortunately not shocking. It reminds me of how I felt when I learned about civil forfeiture. Is that what it's called? Where
civil forfeiture.
Where cops can legally just steal things from people when they pull them over.
If something has anything to do, quote unquote, with a crime, they can take it. Your cell phone, your wallet, your laptop, your camera, and they never have to give it back.
Yeah, it's something else. Okay, let's take a quick few minute break. Thank you, Simply Snaps. Would you like to keep hanging out for a bit, or you down to keep...
Oh yeah,
okay,
no, we can take a break.
So let's take a just like 2 minute break or whatever. Or, I'm gonna go use the bathroom, refill my my adult beverage, and all right, yeah, this is great. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Simply Snaps, for chatting. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll keep the conversation going. I think we're all getting through all the feelings of the show.
Hell yeah, we got some more clips.
We got some behind the scenes clips. All right.
Hell yeah.
All right. BRB. How do I do this? Break. Yay. are live again. Cool. So how was everybody's break?
Oh, mine was wonderful. I sat
good?
here.
Oh, nice. That sounds cool.
I told someone to build their Minecraft house out of diamond blocks, you know?
Oh.
If you're privileged.
That's oh, and Ryan A says hadn't thought of that. So is that a good way to build houses in Minecraft?
Oh yeah, for the affluent. You know, for the people worth consideration, yes.
I've actually never played Minecraft.
Really?
Yeah,
Are
it
you
seems
much
fun.
of a gamer? Aside
I'm a
from,
little
like,
bit of a
old-
gamer. Yeah, you've watched my
old
Twitch
2000s
stream.
games?
Yeah, everybody check out my Twitch stream if you want to see me play really weird games. I'm not much of a gamer, but I have been in my life, like, on and off. I just I don't have like a game system now, and I don't play a ton of PC games, or I don't play much at all. But I do like Minecraft. Sounds really sick. I'm sure I'd like it. I used to play RuneScape when I was a kid and stuff, and I had a little bit adult relapse into RuneScape, so I could see like yeah, I could definitely see, like, you know, it's a similar type of like repetition, like doing something constructive, but like, yeah, it seems chill. Yeah.
I'm super into speed running. I think, and this is not a joke, I think it's because I'm autistic.
No,
and I just think like, you know, playing the same thing again and again and again and again and again, perfecting it.
Yeah.
Getting to know the game you love down to like the pixels and learning how its programming works. Like, I really just think it's a very autistic thing to do, you know? Like,
that's cool. You've learned how the programming even works and shit.
So it's not like I could program it myself, but I do know like why things happen at like what you could call a cellular level in a few games to like really exploit things. Cause you know, there's a speed run like Mario 1 where you kind of just run and jump, and there's super cool stuff in there, but you're running and jumping. Then there's other speed games where like you're doing things that like break the coding of the game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're saying with speed running in general, you get down to the details and every sort of nitty gritty.
And like, you have to understand why these things happen. And I mean, certain games have what's called arbitrary code execution, where through glitches, you can actually write your own arbitrary code into the programming by like making the game read certain values and stuff, and then running it and executing it as if it were code instead of whatever it is. And like,
nice. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that with Minecraft. Like, I've seen clips online where someone was like, you know, has it modded or something like that.
Yeah, and like Mitch Flower Power, I think, did arbitrary code execution in Mario 3 on Colbert, I think.
Oh, wow. That's sick. Well, speaking of the justice system stuff, and
speaking of execution.
Well, speaking of what am I trying to say? Like, you know, yeah, just like unjust penalties. I blocked and banned someone. I hid someone from the channel on Monday.
Oh God!
Because they commented Jimmy dies in the finale. And so I just reflexively like hid them from the channel. But YouTube makes it really inconvenient to figure out like which person you like. I don't even think they arrange the people you've hidden from your channel in terms of date. I don't know how they arrange them. I think it's like fucking random. So I literally feel bad, but like also that was kind of a dumb joke comment. Like, but still, yeah, I feel bad. But if you're watching this and I did that, I'm sorry. You can like let me know and I'll unhide you. You're pretty harmless. Yeah.
Twitch actually has unban requests where it shows the message they were banned for, and then they explain like, "Hey, I'm sorry."
I have those turned off.
God, that's the perfect judicial system.
Yeah. It's basically
Bro, I'm sorry.
It's an appeal. It's basically just an appeal process. But you know, Twitch streaming, you're like a monarch, like you're a dictator essentially. You get to do, you know, basically whatever
I
you
do
want.
certainly think, as a streamer myself, shameless plug.
Oh yeah, right. You're a streamer too. I forgot to mention that when I said you make videos. Yeah. Simply Snaps has a Twitch and right.
I can link my Twitch real quick.
Yeah. Let me do
what
that.
What I do think is important is, do you want me to send it to you or just post it?
Whatever, yeah, whoever
I'll
does
just
it
post
first, yeah.
So like, I just think it's a content creator's responsibility to curate their community, to make people feel welcome, for them to not have to worry about confrontations and assholes, because I've certainly been in chats before where I find myself like, I want to argue with this guy, and I know I can't because then I'm part of the problem. I just wish he wasn't here.
Yeah.
I just wish he wasn't starting this. And like, I remember on Monday when I was like modding for your pre-finale stream.
Yes.
I said like, because you were talking with UD
reviews. Yes.
Reviews. You were talking with UD Reviews, and you were like really distracted, obviously, because like having a conversation with someone and moderating chat is kind of impossible. So I said, like, if anybody spoils anything about 613, even as a joke, I'm probably just going to ban you as quick as I can so the message goes away.
Yeah.
And I saw like, no joke, this isn't an and everybody clapped moment. Seven different people like tagged me and were like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually
did. So
I did actually see that, and I was really happy to see that. And that sort of, it's funny, it sort of relates to what we were talking about with like selfishness and ethics and stuff. Because I really selfishly was like, I do not want the episode spoiled. But actually, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm also doing something really good for the community here.
Yeah, it's hard because sometimes you only hear from the person you banned. They're like, fuck you. But like, nobody here, there were almost 200 people here, and none of them wanted it spoiled.
Exactly.
So like, I'm sorry, needs of the many over the needs of the one. Like,
well, it's not even a need. Yeah, it's like just a troll.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, by streaming, I create an event and I create a collection of people, and I do bear some responsibility for it. It would kind of suck to be like, everybody come hang out in my stream so some asshole can fucking spoil the show for you.
And your viewers are trusting that they can come here to hear a discussion about Better Call Saul without hearing a leak or a spoiler.
I gotta tell you, I'm so relieved now that the show's over. Does anyone else feel that way?
Man.
Like a sense of relief, honestly, where it's like I can just I know what happens. I can just relax.
Are you familiar with the term Lord of the Rings depression?
No, actually.
So it's a phenomenon that's like actually been observed by nerds. I mean, like psychologists.
Right.
When someone who like watches all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies, extended cuts, obviously. Sometimes they get like genuine, like not obviously chemical depression, but they get a genuine melancholy because something they've experienced has been so good and so amazing and perfect, and they love it so much that now that it's over, they really don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, how could I? it was first like observed and given a name about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but just like I've certainly felt that where I liked something so much that when it was over, I kind of sat there and was like, I didn't have any plans for after Better Call Saul. I was literally basing my weeks around
It's like I didn't foresee that's why I called the stream Life After Saul.
I did not plan for after August 15th. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I was counting down to August 15th. It was almost like the moon was going to blow up or something. My boss is like, oh, hey, I'm going to need you to do this. I'm like, dude, that's August 16th. I'm dead.
Yeah, for some reason I really don't feel that. I don't know if it has to do with like the doing content stuff or something, but I really feel like it's a relief that like it's come to a conclusion. So many things. I think what I had was like a sort of anticipation of that, like more of an anxiousness maybe than a depression, where it's like, oh, I'm really worried something's going to go wrong. It's like a risk aversion. You have your favorite thing and you're like, I really hope nothing goes wrong with my favorite thing. I really hope it doesn't go like jump the shark, and it did in the best way. It didn't actually jump the shark, but it just went wild.
Oh, 76 Trombones pledged $1 to your Patreon.
Oh, is that? How do you? I didn't even see. I heard something and then I didn't even see it. Thanks for signing up for the Patreon, Trombones.
What's Therapy's Discord's pretty bopping.
Yeah, you can hop in the Discord, and the Patreon has a lot of cool stuff. I do have to say, I have to post more of those for you YouTube members, Simply Stumps. But Were you about to say something without interrupting you?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think a little anecdote from my childhood. When I was like in third grade, I had a day coming up. I don't know why. Just like, I'm not neurotypical. I don't think about things in ways one might consider normal. But Wednesday was my favorite day of the week because it had gym class and I didn't have to sit in the classroom. I could like run around and I just had ADHD or whatever. But so I loved Wednesday and I got to go to a friend's house after school and I had like the cinnamon toaster strudels that I loved in the freezer. So I got it in my head on Tuesday that Wednesday was going to be the best day of my life. And here's a pro tip for you guys. Never say that.
Yeah. Wait, you said that to yourself every week?
No, I said that to myself that Tuesday. I was like, Wednesday is going to be the best day of my life. I was like 8. But and then I think it's kind of like what you were saying. Like I was so nervous about making sure the best day of my life went perfectly.
Yeah.
That every little thing started to feel like, oh my God, it's all coming undone.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure, like, I doubt this happened to you with Better Call Saul because you're like an adult with some
Sure. Yeah.
names for self. I don't want to say self-control because that's not what I really mean.
Self-regulation type of thing.
Regulation.
Yeah.
You're a therapist.
Yeah.
So it's just self-regulation, like moderating yourself. But for a kid or maybe someone going through something, sometimes it is really hard where you're looking forward to something so much that you can really kill yourself with like, just what if it's not perfect?
It's so true. It's such a bad idea. Like you want to get excited and you want to get hyped, but like I don't know where that line is exactly, but it's definitely somewhere. You know, to where you're just setting yourself up for like disappointment at the slightest thing, which is definitely not me with Better Call Saul because and maybe part of it's being an adult or whatever, but like the way I engage with it, it's like my favorite band releasing an album or something. I'm not like, oh, did they mix it right or something? You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm loving it no matter what, basically.
I can certainly feel that. I used to love Bo Burnham so much. I'm kind of on him now.
Interesting, yeah.
Not like he's done anything, but
sure.
I don't know.
Not yet.
I could do a whole video on this, but when he did Make Happy, his 2017 show, whatever, I got so nervous about it. Because I was like, oh my God, like it's a whole new Bo Burnham show. What if I don't like it? And I never watched it.
Oh, wow.
And I never watched it. And then he released Inside like 2 years ago. And I never watched that either. And I still regularly listen to his earlier work in the car and sing along with every word. But there's just some mental block where I don't want to watch his new stuff.
I mean, that's...
So I can definitely get that.
That's how I felt about Better Call Saul like a year or two ago. Like when I started watching it, I was like, I love Bob Odenkirk. I don't need to watch Breaking Bad. That's sort of like a similar thing because it was like, oh, I don't need this thing that's connected to it. I will say
I like this. Yeah. Who says I like that?
And there's like an identity thing too. It's I think in these sort of situations, like you get your identity wrapped up in like for whatever reason, like I don't want to experience that.
Right.
Yeah. I will say,
The moral of the story is you're allowed to just enjoy things, chat.
Yeah.
We got like 161 people here. If you've been worried about trying something, maybe just do it.
That's so true.
I think it's a very common form of like light executive dysfunction to like just not let yourself do something you want to do.
Yeah.
Just for whatever reason,
Well, I have
to do it.
I have a video called Reasonable Expectations, which is a really weird one on my channel that like does not have a lot of views, but I put a ton of effort into it and research into how expectations work. And it's sort of,
guys.
It's like my biggest failure of a video because it was like so ambitious, but also not clearly defined. I think it's worth watching. But did you
set reasonable expectations for it?
I did, and so I don't really care that it was a failure. I just think it objectively like is confused in some way. But I find expectations so interesting because like what you're talking about, like you can hype something up too much, or you can sort of downgrade it too much. But like the way, like our expectations take on a reality in themselves and can cause things, and like we have control over them in an interesting way. Like people who talk about this is so. I love that we're getting into this type of stuff. So it's not just Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, but people who talk about like manifestation and shit. Like gurus, like, oh, you can manifest your reality and blah blah blah. It's obviously bullshit. But the truth in what they're saying is that your expectations do actually have an impact on things. They can't, make your fucking bank account go up or whatever. There are serious limits that people ignore. But yeah. Anyways, I'm just going off on a tangent. But it's worth. I'm glad we're talking about this. Yeah, because the way you hype things up, you can become more aware of it. You can realize what's going on, be more conscious of your expectations, and then you can change them. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think it's off brand for you to talk a bit about the human condition on What's Therapy.
Good. Well, let's listen to the next clip. All right. Oh, wait. One thing I wanted to say from the previous clip was, who is the other guy that Bob is talking to? Is that Peter Gould?
Yes.
So Peter Gould says that if he had hurt Marion, that would be unforgivable, he says in that clip, right? Or something? Or irredeemable.
Yes, I think so.
Isn't that kind of interesting? Because, like, I'm sorry, but, like, hasn't he already done stuff equally bad? Is that really a next level thing? He's been drugging men for how long? And stealing their identities. And, like, why? I don't know. Do you see what I mean if I say, like, it's sort of putting, like physical violence on a weird other pedestal that I don't know that it necessarily...
Separately. Let's take let's look at what he did to these men for what it is and remove some preconceived notions we might have about it. It is a very disturbing assault on autonomy.
Yeah.
The right to privacy. He was in his man was in these men's homes.
Yeah.
They could have done anything to him.
Yeah.
He didn't know these men that well and still let them do this.
Right.
Like, what if Buddy or whatever his name was also some kind of like sexual deviant?
His name was Buddy, and he was way too good at fucking sneaking in, and he looked like a professional. Why was he so good at that? But no, you're absolutely right. He could never know.
Who trained that dog? And anyway,
right? Like what the fuck? But yes, you're right. Obviously,
and if we look at it from another lens, a different lens, I think one that might get a bigger gut reaction, but I will ask the chat to really think about it after. So
someone says it was editor rather than Peter Gould. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Okay. I'm not trying to. And it's not a big. Sorry. Yeah. It's not a big deal either. Yeah. It's a super small thing. I just think it's interesting. Yeah.
What if instead of drugging men and taking them home and stealing their identities, he had drugged women and then when they went home, stripped them, taken naked pictures of their bodies, reclothed them, and posted those nudes online for money?
Right.
I think people would find that more heinous and unforgivable.
Right.
And might have canceled Jimmy over it.
I don't.
But like, is what he did to these men not heinous? Stripping them of their autonomy, their right to privacy, and this also has direct financial ramifications on them. They could lose their livelihoods.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly also in the opinion that I get more squeamish at the idea of the second example. Like as a woman, it's
right.
But like, is it really?
I think
any more or less harmful?
Yeah, I think it just makes you think about how you feel about different factors that can be involved in that.
And also these men are assholes. These men deserve it. I think he says, do you have any idea how much work I have to put into these men? I have to find single guys with a lot of money who are willing to trust me and get super drunk with me. Like these marks are few and far between. I also wonder if his criteria is deserving it. And I would not put that past Gene or Jimmy.
Well, it's the cancer patient certainly throws that into somewhat question. But I think he doesn't. I think what you were saying earlier about deserving, I definitely connected with, and I think I've mentioned in videos that I've always found deserving a very confusing concept and sort of useless in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
But as far as I guess I see him as apathetic to that type of thing, and like he, but he could in a sense see them as deserving because they fell for it. I think that's probably how he would see it.
Like sheep.
Yes. Yes.
And even worse, a sheep in wolves' clothing. These are successful, cutthroat businessmen who are dumb enough to fall for this.
It's sort of disgusting to Jimmy or Gene in that way, I think. Or
yeah.
Sort of,
And I mean, also I think you could, if you want to really psychoanalyze, be like an armchair psychologist for a moment. I guess me, not you. But if I want to be an armchair psychologist for a moment, I could think, is he potentially taking his rage out on a personification of himself? He's targeting men around his age that look like him, that have a lot of money, something he used to have. They have really nice houses, and he is stealing from them for his own pocket. Like, I do wonder if it's kind of subconsciously. I don't think he put thought into this, but I do wonder if, and also, he's a wealthy, balding, lonely man who drinks every night. I wonder how he thought of this plan.
Yeah.
And remember when he said, I got nobody? If I died tonight, nobody would care?
And are you talking about when he's talking to Frank, the security guard, or when he's talking in the courtroom?
Well, I'm kind of talking about what he's doing to these men.
Does he say it to one of the men?
No, but he says it.
Yeah. I got you. Well, I'm just asking, where does that line come from? Because I think that comes from when he's talking to Frank. But you're right. He's described.
Frank, so I wonder if he's thinking. I wonder if he thought about himself when he thought of the perfect mark. Because he is an old, wealthy, lonely, balding man who's got nobody. And if he were to pass out drunk on his floor because he was drugged maliciously and someone marched into his house and robbed him blind, nobody would know and nobody would care and nobody would protect him.
Yeah.
And that's the exact mark he went after with this scam.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's true. That's a great, interesting thought. Yeah.
There's just so many angles, but yeah, I mean, I do think it was Chris, one of the two editors of Better Call Saul, that said that, and not Peter Gould.
Yeah, fair
someone
enough.
said. But yeah, I say we go into the next clip. This
sounds good.
Really interesting. It's Peter Gould, just a little teaser.
Wait. Before, because I want to let you introduce it. That's awesome. I just want to say John Smith said conflicting expectations are the most complicated parts of relationships. I just want to say I think that's a really good point. I just want to highlight that. Okay, please, introduce this next one.
So teeing this up, clip number 2 is Peter Gould talking about and a little preamble of what was said before this, because I tried to keep these clips a little shorter. They had been talking about it's shocking that Jimmy got caught 4 minutes into the episode. We wanted him to get away. And this is Peter Gould saying, if Jimmy had gotten away, nothing would have really been different. So I'll cue it up at the same time so I can hear it. So just let me know.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thought. Okay, I'm going to click in 3, 2, 1, go.
You do want him to get away, but then I think in the end, he would get away and then he'd end up getting himself into more trouble to get caught. It feels like the reason why I think this is a happy ending really is that you see that this guy is caught in a cycle with himself. He's caught in a whirlpool. You see that especially in episode 11 where, Tom does this beautiful job of paralleling Gene getting into this new scam and then Saul being unable to leave the whole Walter White thing alone. And you just see this guy's doing the same thing over and over again to himself. He's looking for something. He can't quite break himself out of it. And this episode, and maybe that's the reason this episode had to be long, because he starts off and he's still in that same headspace. He's still in the same headspace that he's always been, which is, I'm going to get mad and I'm going to kind of put it all aside. I'm not going to think about it too hard. And you see that in the flashbacks. He's just not willing to really admit that he can look inside himself. And then by the end, he's taking responsibility in a way that he never has.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think you can death the author that. I think that's really, really great.
I mean, yeah, because that's not like this is canon. That's just
Yeah.
a very brilliant analysis of the
Yeah.
text.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Real quick to comment on, someone asked, do you think he'd be mad if that happened to him? For context, I think he's referring to if Jimmy had been robbed and had his identity stolen.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd be mad if that happened to him or accept it as part of the game? I think you might be misunderstanding the game. It's not that like, bad shit happens to me. That's the game. No, like they kill each other in the game. You're not allowed to rob me just because we're both part of the game. Like, I do think Jimmy absolutely would retaliate in any way he could if a criminal wronged him. What the game is, it's not even a principle Jimmy holds. Jimmy doesn't care about the game. That's Mike's thing. There's no in or out of the game for Jimmy, in my opinion.
I think
Howard wasn't in the game.
Well, I think Jimmy cares about the game. I don't know that he sees the boundaries of the game like Mike sort of does. I also think Mike focusing on the boundaries of the game is a sort of cope in a way. And
it's
like
compartmentalization.
Yeah, it's him.
It's fine if that guy dies because that guy wasn't innocent. He was in the game.
It's also not true that the boundaries he wants to be there are there. So he's trying to assert that they are, even though clearly things get out of control many times.
I think he tries to keep the rules in place, his rules.
Yeah.
I think he was willing to die for Nacho's father, which is irrational. But I think the game is important to him.
He was willing to die for Nacho's father. That's true. Yeah.
This man who he's only met once, it was the principle of the matter, which is the kind of man Mike is. But it was reckless. Like, he's got people, you know? It's not just his life he's worried about. If he gets on Gus's bad side, Gus is considering killing a family member of Nacho. Mike has family.
But he needs to live with himself, and he
exactly.
has his self. But as far as the comment, which is so good, it makes me immediately think of the first episode of Jimmy having those redheaded kids scam him. And so they do that to him, and what does he do? I mean, I guess they consent to it, but like he basically uses them for his thing. I mean, he does not basically. He does that. Yeah.
But we had a heyday in your stream, I think 2 weeks ago, about where did the moral weight of that fall? Was it on Jimmy? Was it on Tuco? Was it on the twins?
Yes.
I feel that Jimmy didn't really bear any more responsibility about what happened to them than they did.
Right.
Because neither Jimmy nor the twins consented to Tuco.
Yes.
Neither of them knew Tuco was going to happen. If Jimmy had known, if Jimmy had tried to scam Tuco's abuelita and it went wrong, then yes, Jimmy would have an ethical responsibility there, and he would have been risking these twins' lives. But I feel like they both went into that scam with both feet, and all three of them, to their knowledge, knew what was going on.
It's true that they had the same information. I do have to feel like Jimmy organized it, and that's got to be something, but they totally agreed. I mean, so maybe it's like 60-40 or something.
Yeah. I mean, also, I don't know how I feel about referring to them as kids, because
they're not kids.
20s.
They're not kids. I meant that, that's true. They're definitely.
Well, you weren't using the word too much, but a lot of them were being and these were kids. It's okay.
I might have even called them that.
A kid.
I think I did call them that, and I've definitely. I think it's important to see them as young, but it's also important to see them as adults.
Certainly younger than Jimmy, which matters. I mean, dynamics.
Same with Jeff.
Important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is Jeff younger than Jimmy?
Jeff's got to be 10 or 20 years younger, no?
I mean, keep in mind, Bob Odenkirk is in his 60s. Jimmy is not. Jimmy just turned 50.
Yeah, and we don't even know.
Timeline.
We don't know what Jeff actually looks like deep down.
Let me check.
You'd have to face morph the two Jeffs.
To face morph the two, or just check the wiki.
Yeah, let's just check if he has an age. Mike is mainly breaking down the Nor. There are
doesn't seem to have one, but I can look up.
He might not have an age, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, there's obviously levels of power.
Oh, well, you want to know something?
Yes.
There is an 11-year age discrepancy between the two actors.
That's so funny.
Don Harvey, the first actor,
he's older.
Was born in 1960, and that's 62 years ago.
Wow.
So I mean, if you want to go off that original casting, because I thought that was weird, I didn't think there was an age discrepancy because his actor and Bob are the same age.
Yeah.
But Pat Healy is only in his 50s. But either way, Jimmy's in his 50s. I think Jeff is supposed to be viewed as like a kind of failure. He lived in Albuquerque for a very long time. The only reason he's living with his mom, who, by the way, Carol Burnett is in like her 80s, right? Like his mom is a very old woman, which means he's probably pretty old too.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well,
So
I mean,
I think he's in his 50s.
She could be playing a younger woman, but yeah, we know.
No, of course. But like, I just think based off the clues that we have, it's not unreasonable to presume that for all intents and purposes, Jeff and Jimmy don't have an age dynamic.
Fair enough. Yeah. There's, isn't it interesting how willing Jeff was to get involved with Jimmy Gene when he showed up?
Well, he was apparently involved in some shady stuff.
Yeah.
I do find it fascinating that, and it's certainly different, but he doesn't work Jimmy does not work alone.
Right.
Like he basically made a new Kroger brand discount Diet Kim.
Yeah.
Out of Jeff.
Yeah.
Like
I sort of prefer Kim if I could choose.
I'll say so. Carol Burnett is 89. Well, there you go. But yeah, I feel like he really needs the partnership, the camaraderie. When he lost Kim, it became Walter White, and then Walter White died, and now it's fucking Jeff.
And
I don't want to use the word failure as if you're living with your parents. And first of all, like in many cultures, it's a Western idea that you're a failure if you live with your family.
Oh yeah, totally.
But like I say failure because he's a failure.
He doesn't like his life. He's not enjoying
by his own definition, he has failed.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he's working a job he hates. He's living with his 80-year-old mother in his 50s. He doesn't want to live there.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're living together out of practicality and like he takes care of her and in exchange she takes care of him. It seems like this is her home and he's living in it. This does not look like Jeff's home. It is very clearly the home of an 80-year-old woman.
And she's a strong, independent woman, I think.
She infantilizes him.
Yes.
Jeffy.
Like,
and she seemed totally oblivious to his concern when he came inside and saw Gene.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Like, I really think she doesn't really listen to him.
Yeah, that's always an interesting thing because people could point out stuff like that and be like, oh, it's like a weird thing about the show, But you want to take it on face value and just like think about it as it is, as the characters are. And it's like people can be oblivious sometimes. And could it be dramatized? Sure, it's dramatized. But like it's one person being really oblivious. He was clearly like... I mean, he clearly knew Gene, but he also clearly was afraid at the very least.
He looked like he'd seen a ghost.
Yes, exactly. So,
and he looked furious.
Spoonhouse Inc. just got here. Hey, welcome. Everybody say hi to Spoonhouse Inc. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe Jeff is the new Francesca. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Right. Francesca's a great example of what you're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I liked what Peter Gould said about just like getting involved with Walter and that being like something he couldn't stop himself from doing. Because I feel like I've thought about it in those terms, but for some reason it's like, it feels different than like his normal scam, obviously, because he's sort of hitching a ride to something big, something else.
I find it, when I heard that this was going to happen, this Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston cameo, I was curious because I was thinking, the only way you could do this and do it right, which obviously they're going to because they're brilliant, it has to be about Jimmy. This show is about Jimmy McGill. I don't want more about Walter and Jesse. There's 62 episodes about Walter and Jesse and a whole movie about Jesse.
That's a really, really good point. Yeah.
So it had to be about Jimmy, and it was. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because Breaking Bad, the Better Call Saul episode, Breaking Bad is about Gene breaking bad. He's doing it again. And the Breaking Bad timeline scenes, I think there are 3 of them in total, 4 if you count the teaser with Jimmy bouncing around in the back of the RV. So there's the teaser, then there's the scene in the RV where he talks to Walt and Jesse, then there's the scene where he talks to Mike, and then there's the scene where he goes to the high school. And all of these scenes are juxtaposed alongside a present-day Gene scene where he is making the same bad choices.
Right.
So it's really good. It's really well done because they made these scenes about him. They made these scenes about he's doing it again. And that's what Peter Gould said. What if Gene had gotten away? Well, it wouldn't have been any different. If Gene had gotten away
what's he gonna do?
If he had called Best Quality Vacuum and gotten moved to goddamn, Vermont on some farm, he would have done it again.
Yeah.
There is always going to be a Jeff. There's always going to be a Buddy. There's always going to be a good Samaritan like Marion. He would have gotten caught later. And that's pretty much what Peter Gould and Bob Odenkirk are saying. It doesn't matter.
He's miserable.
His situation is untenable. It can't keep going like this.
Yeah. What did you feel when he broke the phone in the dumpster?
Oh boy. Well, I think when he dropped the diamonds, I knew it was over.
Right. Well, that's the bigger thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of how
he doesn't break the phone. He loses the phone. Right. I don't know.
He has all of these burner phones, but he hasn't opened them. It shows a lack of planning. He ran away. He didn't have scissors. How was he supposed to open this goddamn thing?
But he does have.
It sounds funny, but I'm being serious.
It's true. It's like a half-ass. He doesn't. His heart's not in it, I guess.
And it's crazy because he has a combination of gross negligence about his own well-being, and he's hyper vigilant at the same time. He listens to the police scanner every night to make sure they're not talking about him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even have a plan for what happens if they are?
Well, and he clearly does have his speech to Marie planned out. You know what I mean? That speech, he seemed like he'd been planning for a while. Maybe just since he was in jail.
Honestly, you don't think he could have improvised that? I'm not saying he did.
No, I do absolutely think he could have improvised it. I got the vibe that it felt like it was cocked and loaded, but no, there's no evidence for it. It could have easily been improvised.
I mean, it's very it kind of shows that self-destructive nature mixed with hypervigilance that we've been talking about basically all stream. He let Marion press the button, but still tried to get away. He listens to the police scanner every single night, but didn't have a clear plan for what if they were coming after him.
Yeah.
I expected when he jumped through the window and went down a hill and came out of an alley, I was expecting a getaway car.
Yeah.
That he left in an alley somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, he had the means.
And Mike would have had that shit figured out.
Well, I was expecting some safe house or something.
Someone says his plan was to call the vacuum guy again. Yeah, but he didn't have it worked out enough. And I don't think he wanted to. Could you imagine? I'm forced to change.
That's really the heart of it.
Yeah, he's forced into this situation where he has 2 options. One is be forced to change his identity. It's not something he wants to do. He's being forced into it because he doesn't get to be himself anymore, I guess. He's lost the privilege. Or his other option is to just not make the call, basically.
So what did you think about him using his one phone call to call Cinnabon? Because
Well,
I read that as he had nothing.
Yeah, I certainly read it that way. It also, I'll probably mention this in the video, but it definitely reminded me of Gus getting a bullet and then calling Pollos Hermanos, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was a bullet, right? Yeah, he got shot. So it made me think of that. But no, it's him having nothing. It's also, I was talking about this with UD Reviews. It seems like kind of a pro-social thing. Like, oh, I'll just try to not be a dick. Like, it shows sort of his, like, Jimmy side a little bit, like, just to be nice.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And he always has that, I'm going to say it again, it's like a child. Like, mom got mad at me and sent me to my room, but at the top of the steps, I'm going to be like, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, just to be like, it's kind of like when he gets fired by Cliff, and he's like, for what it's worth, I think you're a good guy. For what it's worth, I think you're an asshole.
Yes.
Like, he just feels the need to do that.
Yeah.
He's
I love
so
that
childish.
part. I love that part so much, and that's such a good example of that. Yeah. It's not even like he is necessarily looking for confirmation that Cliff likes him. I mean, I feel like that's probably a slight part of it, but it's more like he somehow doesn't realize he's sacrificed, like, respectability. He has this, like, irrational faith that, like, I can be seen as a respectable, legitimate, good person, even when I just did fucking what he did for the last few weeks.
Yeah, and, like, I feel like, just as a character analysis, I would never feel qualified to make these kinds of statements about a real human being. But with Jimmy, if I had to guess, I'd say he got positive reinforcement from his parents, no matter how he acted. And so he was not incentivized. And I'm not saying you should be treated badly by your parents.
Sure, no.
What I'm saying is good behavior was not incentivized, and bad behavior was incentivized. And
or not disincentivized.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was incentivized by money.
Oh, sure.
So he learned at a very young age that I'm going to do bad things and I'm still going to be treated great because people like me. I'm likable. And he never matured beyond that childish charisma and that I can talk myself out of anything. And when he actually tries to emotionally level with someone, like with Kim when he's trying to say I love you, or like with Clifford Main when he's trying to be like, you know, I just like all of this aside, I just want you to know I like you. You know, like I think you're a good guy. He can't. He is not trained this adult, deep, personal way of like just saying what you think, leveling with someone. He has not exercised this muscle ever since he was a kid.
I
don't know if it's a perfect analysis, but I just feel like the reason he kind of reverts to a very childlike demeanor is because like he never actually acts like this as an adult. He's never learned.
Yeah, and when you say to level with people emotionally, I definitely think that's true. I also think there's a piece of it it's like that childish like emotional manipulation, but it's not like intentional manipulation. It's just like a child. Because when he says "I love you" to Kim, he's saying like, "Please don't leave me. Like I love you, and that should be enough."
I mean, Bob killed that line when he goes like, "Hey, guess what? I love you."
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god, the guess what?
Oh, does he say guess what?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure.
God.
Unless I made that up.
Wait. Well, it's no. Even if he doesn't say it, it's like the tone. It's the tone.
I remembered it like he did, which means like I read between the lines. I do think he goes, "Hey, I love you."
I think he might say "Hey." I think you're right. I think he says "Hey." But people saying Simplest Snap should make videos about Breaking Bad. Yeah, leave Mr. Therapy out of the business. I agree. No, you got a lot going for you. But no, I think what was I going to say? Yeah, it's like manipulation, and then he doesn't know. I guess he doesn't know how to like accept other people's agency enough to like level with people in a genuine way that doesn't try to just influence them to do what he wants them to do.
It's so strange though, because while he does have that problem, he works so well with Kim, whose biggest trigger, if you want to describe it like that, is any disrespect to her autonomy. But like you said, Jimmy certainly has problems with giving people autonomy and letting them be their own people. He kind of puts them in boxes, expects things of them.
Yes.
And he certainly does that to Kim. But Kim, her biggest thing, she will write you off for life if she feels like you're trying to put her in a box, especially if it's not a favorable one. If you are trying to write her off as someone who needs help, who needs saved, someone who you know better than, like she's done with you.
Yeah.
You know? After Howard had the audacity to imply that she wasn't also as bad as Jimmy, she had to prove that she was.
So here's the question. Why does she marry Jimmy, do you think?
That's such a good question.
It's such a simple but a good question.
Well, she's freaking out. I think you have to dissect the scene. She's upset that Jimmy didn't tell her because Jimmy rightfully said, you have plausible deniability. I did something very illegal, but you have plausible deniability. And she hates that. She hates that she was not viewed as an equal player in this. She didn't get to do all the sticky notes with him.
In the Kevin Wattel thing, and the Mr. Actor.
You turned it from us versus Kevin
Yeah.
to you versus me.
Which she totally did, yeah.
And basically, I think the conclusion she comes to, and I think let me change the phrase "we could get married" to something else. She goes, maybe we have two choices. We can just split up now and like treasure the time we had together and move on, or we could both be like this. I could cross the gap. I can finally take my second foot onto your side of the line.
Yeah.
Like we could get married. I think what she's saying there in fewer words is like, we either have to stop this or I am going to be an equal participant in this chicanery.
Yeah.
Like that's how I read it.
She doesn't see enough of a life for herself outside of the relationship, unfortunately. I mean, for whatever. I mean, because she loves him. And
Yeah, and I honestly think she's been allured by it this whole time, and she's denied herself just fully succumbing to this pleasurable darkness.
Yeah.
Of like, and she's at a crossroads. She's so angry, and she's like, I have two choices. I can either walk away, or I could double down.
Yeah.
Like, but I can't keep doing this one foot in the door bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't keep being the good lawyer with Jimmy because like you can't be a good lawyer living with Jimmy.
No, I mean he's like huge liability.
Yeah.
But yeah, people in the chat talking about, you make me happy. I know, it's just such a childish like she knows that they make each other happy. Like she took that into account. Like
and yeah, the hey, I love you. And he doesn't go, hey, I love you. He goes, hey, I love you. It's almost just like, all right, I'll say it. That thing we don't say.
Oh, that was the thing I meant to say. Someone commented and I hadn't even realized they had never said I love you before that time.
Oh, I had known that because you even did a poll that was like, do Kim and Jimmy love each other? And I don't think that poll would be necessary if they had said it.
That's a good point, yeah.
So that poll actually made me think, like, wait, do they like say I love you in the morning?
That's a good point.
So
I never would have thought to make that poll if they had actually just out and said it, but I didn't even realize that. Her life outside of Jimmy is yup. Yeah, that's a good point, Carson.
Has anybody edited the sex scene in Waterworks to be Kevin's dad's? Yup.
Oh no! God, someone do that. Send me the link on Twitter.
And just bass boost the bed thumping by like 12 decibels.
Yeah, it was already
Take it
too loud
really hard.
for my taste. Kim needs to has a need to be the parent figure. I think that's very true. I think not having like great parents herself, seemingly from what the show tells us, she does want to do that. I was also going to say about when we were talking about Jimmy and a little about his dad and stuff. You know, like his dad knew that he was giving charity and stuff, and like you want to give charity, that's great, but like maybe keep track of it, and then like maybe when your numbers don't add up, like try to figure out why. Like, so Jimmy grew up in a world where we were talking about like not much accountability or whatever. Like his dad just and mom, it was both their business. It was both their business. They just never cared. Like they just never tried to figure out why the money, like, I mean, we can assume Jimmy took a substantial chunk. Even if he didn't cause the decline of the business, he took a chunk that they could have figured out was disappearing.
And you know, I gotta ask, and this might sound shocking at first, but it just hit me for the very first time. Are we positive their dad didn't kill himself? Because Chuck says that Jimmy ruined their business and 6 months later he was dead and he blames Jimmy.
Yeah.
The business failing is directly connected to him dying. How could that be?
I see that similar to like, what's a good example? I want to say Chuck, but Chuck actually does kill himself. But like, if Chuck had just like sort of drank himself to death like unintentionally or something after leaving HHM, like it's like, how much would you blame Jimmy for that? Like
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So I mean, I certainly don't think it's implied that it's suicide, but I still think that's that's what
it's not implied that it's suicide, which is why I don't think it was. But Chuck does see it fit to directly blame Jimmy for it.
Well, that's also a good example of, like we were talking about with Jimmy, Chuck is expressing himself, but it's only in sort of the most convenient way possible for him to serve his most like petty motives a little bit.
Of course.
Like, because he's actually accessing something very real. There's no question about sincerity. He's like, I mean, I guess you could hypothesize, but he's like crying and shit or something in that scene with Kim. He's tearing up at least. He's not crying, but he's real. But yeah, no, I think it's a very real thing for someone to lose their livelihood and lose their will to live to some capacity. I think that there's definitely something there. But
I think Trombones is right. 76 Trombones says it's more of like died of a broken heart trope.
Yeah. And then
like where the red fern grows. Why'd the second dog die, you know?
Someone pointed out to me that Marion might have kind of looked like Jimmy's mom. Do you think that's true? Like their mom?
I mean, I think if Marion was supposed to be like a stand-in for anybody, it would be the old women that Jimmy liked.
Yeah.
But maybe. I don't know. We never got a great look at Jimbo's mom.
Well, there's a connection too between. Yeah, I mean, he had this great relationship with his parents, sort of like you were talking about, right? And then he had this great relationship with these older folks, so much that it's like what started pulling him out of the gutter as a lawyer, basically, and made him actually build a client list. And it's what started him on a good path in a lot of ways, and it's what he abuses at the same time.
But not to psychoanalyze too much.
Yeah,
but
please. That's why we're here.
It almost makes me wonder if they're the only people he can be this beloved by, because seniors in our country are unbelievably lonely. We live in a society with cars that they can't always drive and gas that they can't always afford, and most Americans do not live in an area with comprehensive public transit. They can't go places, they can't do things. They're so lonely. I imagine you've had a conversation with an elderly individual once, and just they never let you walk away, and you want to be irritated, but you're also like, God, am I the only person this woman's going to get to talk to for the next 2 weeks? And it almost makes me wonder if Jimmy, as superficial and fake as he is, he kind of knows in the back of his mind that these people are eating out of his hand because they're lonely. They're desperate. He's giving them this charm. It's not manipulative. It's not unethical, but I do think it's like He loves being with these people because they love him. Because like they're lonely, and he's this handsome young man who could, talk anything into reality, and he compliments them and he makes them feel wanted. And I don't want to undermine that he does right by them. He loves them at first. He gets their wills in order. He represents them at Sandpiper. It started morally, but like it is kind of indicative of a kind of rot within him that like the only people he could really work with were people who were, let's say, operating at a deficit, like a deficit of love and attention and socialization.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because people talk about, his relationship with elder folks, but it's not usually dug into like why that is. I definitely think, that you said it really well. There is desperation and needs. And when you said superficial, it was the word literally in my mind in that moment, because I was thinking about like, you can have a deep relationship with older folks, of course, but if it's just someone you're like meeting through your work or something, like odds are you're probably gonna have like a relatively superficial, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, he's nice. Like you said, he's handsome. He wears, like, why does he find that same white suit that fucking the old TV show guy wears? I can't remember his name.
Right.
Because that's the exact type of superficial detail that he cares about and that he knows matters to these elder folks. And not just old folks, but anyone, when you're getting to know someone in a more superficial capacity, it's like those sort of details rise to the top. But he gets this sense of connection, which is what he obviously wants, like most of us do. But it's also Matlock. Thank you, John. But it's also not too much intimacy. He doesn't want too much intimacy. So
and that's certainly why I use the word superficial, because it's like he's nice to these people. He sits in their homes. He helps them with their wills. He sees them jogging at the mall, and he's like, "Hi, ladies." But like, he's not gonna go out to dinner with them. He's not gonna catch the game with them. He's not.
Well, it's not even that, because he hypothetically would, but it's also like, he's not going to take off the table scamming them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's not going to take off the table stealing their things.
What he did to that woman, his favorite out of all of them.
Yes.
It's so heartbreaking. And you know what? I actually thought of this scene from, what was it? Season 3. Hang on.
Cops were trying to come arrest me.
So, what Sandpiper? There's a scene in season 3 where Jimmy confronts Howard about Sandpiper. And I was watching it recently. I'll link it to you on Discord. I think we should watch this because it's in the garage, and knowing what happens, knowing how Sandpiper gets settled, this scene is extremely ominous and upsetting now.
I keep getting that, with rewatching things.
Something they couldn't have planned.
Okay,
but,
let's check it. You want
let me know when you're about to click it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play it. All right, I'll click play in 3, 2, 1, go. And that's a very good point that, doesn't justify anything Jimmy does, but it's, it's worth considering. Obviously, okay. Let me keep playing. That fucking, I just want to say that HHM, the HHM melody, like, oh my God, that's so like crazy how it just goes through the whole series. But oh wait, hold on, you're just gonna have to wait for it. Yeah, wow. What is it?
And that's the line that made me cringe, because it's like, no, he's not. He's not gonna wait for it. And that's what disturbs me so much. This wasn't a warning, it wasn't an ultimatum, but it's like, my God, neither of these men know what's happening here. Neither of these men know that if Howard would settle, he'd live.
Yeah.
Neither of these men know what Jimmy's going to do to him if he doesn't settle. Not even Jimmy knows.
Well, and it would be such a different show if Jimmy was like, in season 3, like, I'm going to extort you. You know what I mean? Like, that's my plan. It's like he doesn't necessarily want to let his impulses take him where they take him.
It's just so like, my God, I was watching that because I was rewatching. I think this is like the season 3 finale.
This is the one before, I think, but yeah.
Okay. The Sandpiper has been so all-encompassing through the whole series, and they let you forget about it for a little while.
Yes,
because
I love that.
after the season 3 finale, we don't really talk about it until near the end of season 5.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but then it comes around again. Yeah, they talk about it in Something Unforgivable, the season 5 finale.
It sort of melts away with some of the early Saul stuff and the Magic Man and everything else.
Yeah, but it was so important in the first 3 seasons. It's the reason all of this happened.
It's through the whole show. You're right. I love it.
And it's just so odd, so surreal. I can't really even describe the experience of watching that scene when I forgot it happened and just Jimmy being like, you better settle. And Chuck's like, or else you'll do what? It's like, oh, Chuck, you don't understand what he's capable of yet.
Yeah.
Jimmy doesn't know what he's capable of yet.
Kim certainly doesn't know what she's capable of.
No, because Chuck's like, what are you going to do? You going to peel off some members of the class? You going to leak some info to Schweikart? I know you would do something like that, but you're too damn greedy. Howard thinks he's got Jimmy figured out, and Howard has come to the conclusion, incorrectly, that there is no demented thing Jimmy could do because he doesn't think that bad of Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think Jimmy would hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think Jimmy would ruin his entire life. I just don't think he thinks Jimmy is capable of that yet.
No, he definitely doesn't. And it is interesting that you point out Jimmy doesn't either. Like, no way. And like,
no, because Jimmy seems genuinely at a loss when Howard's like, what are you going to do?
Right.
He has no threat. He has no leverage.
But when we think about, stuff like Walter being like, oh, you've always been this way, it's interesting because different sort of chances have come and gone throughout Jimmy's life. And when we see him right here, like, how is he the exact same? I don't know. He has different impulses. He acts on them differently. Are some of them similar? Sure. When he was slipping Jimmy, was he similar to Saul? Like, sure, but is it the same? And yeah, I don't know. It's just, maybe it's a technicality. But I think that leads into the next clip, maybe, about...
Ooh, yeah. So this third clip, it's Peter Gould and Bob Odenkirk discussing, was this a happy ending? I remember one of the teasers, I think a teaser for the mid-season premiere used a clip from Nippy that confused a lot of people because it has Bob going, like, what do you know? A happy ending.
Yeah. Or
and
after all this.
After all this, a happy ending. And like imagining him saying that after plan and execution wasn't possible.
I'm so glad I didn't watch those fucking teasers. That sounds horrible. I don't want to watch that shit and have no idea. That sounds horrible.
So like it's just so crazy because like I said in the moment, I was like, these always try to fuck with our minds.
Yeah.
I think this is 4D chess.
Yeah.
I think we are going to get a happy ending. I think they're going to play this clip and make you think we're not.
You can't, it can't be 5D chess where it goes back to not being a happy ending.
And so we're about to listen to Peter Gould and Bob Odenkirk ask the question, and they don't definitively answer it. They use words like I think and I feel because they respect that like they can't answer that question.
They don't know.
But like, is this a happy ending? Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
Let me pull up a good frame to have us ponder this.
Yes, ponder.
Yeah.
That line being at the end of Nippy was so funny.
What?
Yeah, because as someone who was waiting for that line, dude, you have no idea. Like him saying it about Nippy, you're like, oh god damn it, we're not gonna get happy ending, are we?
You say that now, but Nippy's gonna have a spinoff. There's gonna be a whole Nippy spinoff. I'm pretty sure that's the next show.
Bryce and Nippy are gonna get a buddy cop show.
Oh, that's so true. Nippy becomes a police dog.
and someone took Price's baseball cards. It's going to be a Liam Neeson situation.
Oh, I mean, I really probably am going to do a Price video. I know I mentioned that in one of my videos. It's not going to be my next one, but it would be funny and people would love it.
I still can't believe you haven't seen the What We Do in the Shadows TV show, because Price's
Yeah.
actor is a main character.
I
in
need
that.
to watch it. I love him in everything, like the
And
Tim
he
Heidecker
basically
stuff.
just plays Price.
He always plays the same exact character. But that's what
Imagine
it.
being typecast as that guy.
Well, it's also like sort of what comedy actors do more often. Like I feel like that's why Bob Odenkirk is so modest about being in a drama and stuff. It's like he really did have to stretch himself beyond normal comedy acting limits. Yeah.
He actually said, I wish I got a clip of this, but he said in this podcast that this was like the best role he's ever had in his life, obviously.
Wow. Yeah.
But he said the reason why is because he's a sketch actor and he got to play like 7 different characters in this show.
That's so true.
Like the way he looks at it, there's Jimmy McGill at the beginning of the show. There's the man Jimmy McGill becomes. There's like 3 different Saul Goodmans. There's Gene Takovic, and then there's James Morgan McGill.
Charlie Hustle.
Like-
Don't forget Charlie Hustle. Yeah.
Charlie Hustle. Come on, there's a joke here. Who did he? Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Exactly. He looks exactly.
It very briefly plays Kevin Costner.
Did Bob Odenkirk like make them put that in the script or like what's the deal? Okay, so let's is Kevin
let's
Costner
listen, yeah.
even hot? I don't even know if that's true. Okay, never mind. Anyways, let's just check this out. So Peter and Bob talking about Jimmy. Let's check it out. And thank you for finding these clips. Simply Snaps. Like yeah, great.
Give me countdown.
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Because it is a sad ending in some ways, because the guy is in prison for a while. Although
86
when I
years.
watch it, I never think he's really going to be in prison for 86. I mean, look, he is who he is. So I think he's going to get out before 86 years. But he's in there. He's doing his time, and if he ever gets out, I don't think he's going to make the same mistakes. So I think in that sense, it's a very upbeat ending, and also the fact that Kim also has moved on in her life.
I totally agree. I think that as hard as it is in every way, the place he's at and the choices he's made, he made the best choice to grow as a person and own up to himself. And I think it's awesome. I think he's a better man for sure at the end. And I think he knows it too.
So it's
Boom.
It's really such a great clip, and I want to say, like, I was a little bit hard on Jimmy before. Is he being sincere in court or not? The truth is, the insincerity would make no sense in this case. It's
no reason.
There's no
He had
reason
every reason to lie and get a 7-year sentence.
Yes. First of all, it's not a huge factor even, because already what he's doing is being honest in a way where sincerity doesn't even come into play, because he's laying down facts in an honest way, and we know that that's true. He's saying, I was instrumental and essential to this operation that Walter ran and so on, and that's, for the most part true. But anyways, I do think he's being sincere. I do think he, in the past in the show, we've seen him be insincere to benefit himself, obviously. And in this case, he's doing an action that's bringing more consequences his way. I think not even necessarily in a self-destructive way. He just wants to face consequences. Like some part of him feels like he needs to. Yeah.
And I love the moment where like he confesses about stealing the law from Chuck, and then Chuck killed himself. And Bill Oakley is like, why'd you even say that part? Because this isn't the line, but Bill essentially says, you just made yourself look even worse and even less charitable and even more unforgivable for no reason. He says that wasn't even a crime.
Here,
But
let me
Jimmy
play that.
Jimmy says, yeah.
Goodman.
Do you think he means that it was literally a crime, or he's saying it was a bad thing and it was immoral?
What he did wasn't illegal. He just, if anything, he was a little narc. But is it illegal to inform an insurance agency that one of their clients committed a very public infringement of their policy?
Yeah. No, it's not. But maybe he's just getting it confused with all the other potentially illegal things he did. No, but he just the way he's saying it, it does seem like he's being like he's genuinely or literally meaning it, but I think it makes much more sense to assume he's just saying I don't give a shit about what's legal and what's not legal right now. I'm saying it was a crime.
That was a crime against Chuck.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like Chuck committed a lot of crimes against him too. Chuck never breaks the law in the series, but like,
oh yeah, that's probably true.
Except stealing that newspaper.
Oh, and he gets fucking tasered.
Question. Oh yeah, there's a very interesting question happening in chat right now.
Oh really?
Someone says he can finally be himself in prison.
Right.
And another person is saying, can he really be himself in prison? He's finally ready to be Jimmy, but he's locked up in a world where he'll only be called Saul.
Yeah.
I want to remind you guys, there is no such thing as Saul Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
All of these characters are Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And Slippin' Jimmy, Victor with a K, Saul Goodman, all of these are who Jimmy is, but they're not only who he is.
Mm.
And I do think he can be himself in prison. I think he will finally learn to live a life without shame in prison. It doesn't mean he's proud of what he did, but these people, they know him. They have seen him. They have seen the absolute worst of him in these papers and heard the stories. And they're not scorning him. And I'm not saying maybe they should be. Maybe they should be, but they're not. So when you ask, can he be himself in prison? I think he can be.
I think that's a really interesting point and a great question in the chat. I mean, I asked that community post, like, are they the same person? And I've gotten all kinds of different answers, including one today that was like, what do you fucking think they switch bodies? What are you fucking high or something? It's like, no, I don't think they switch bodies. No, but it is a question I asked to obviously bring into that question of like, what is himself? Like, what is him as a person? But I think the question of can he be himself in prison, like himself is that mix of Jimmy or Saul. Like, it doesn't matter. I think what you were saying also, Simply Snaps, is like, it kind of doesn't matter if they're calling him Saul. That's something he can connect with too in his own way. Is that sort of similar to what you were saying or not?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, it's kind of like in Breaking Bad, you might have noticed in comment sections, like, this is the moment Walt became Heisenberg. Some horrible amalgamation because it's just become such a joke now that like this is the moment blank became blank. And it's because Heisenberg is an alias that Walter White assumes in the drug world because he's a chemistry teacher and doesn't want to use his own name. And there's always, Heisenberg is the name, much like Saul Goodman. It's very fascinating that they did this twice, but I think it was worth repeating. Everybody wants to know the moment Walt became Heisenberg. And in my opinion, he didn't. He always was. Like,
have you... Sorry, please keep going. Don't let me interrupt.
Became found.
Well, no, I was going to ask if you know about that comedian who tweeted, I don't know if she's still doing it, during Trump's presidency. Every single day she tweeted, "Today is the day Donald Trump truly became president." And she tweeted it every single day.
I loved, and this is such like a morbid dystopia, but like, I love like the liberals who like jokingly every time were like, this is the thing that brings him down.
It's like sort of two sides of the same coin. This is the moment Nippy became found. Yeah, that's a great part. But, sorry, I think I might have cut you off.
But I mean, like, obviously, it would be very hard to spoil Breaking Bad for you because you already know the SparkNotes version. So all you have left is the beauty of the experience.
Sure.
But like, I'm still trying to be sensitive to certain things. But I will just say, like, Walter White is a deeply insecure man suffering from extreme toxic masculinity, the likes of which Albuquerque has never seen. He overcompensates. His ego literally drives him to commit murder several times. Literally someone who does not need to die, somebody who actually he might benefit from being alive, crossed him and literally told him he's got an ego issue and he kills them for it.
It's
so, like,
self-destructive in that way of Jimmy or similar, like you can't control your impulses.
And people always ask, when was the moment Walt became Heisenberg? And I hearken back to that story he shared in Saul Gone about the company that he started. The reason he left that company, Bryan Cranston has said, like in an interview, so death of the author, this isn't in the text at all. But Bryan Cranston has said he's talked to Vince Gilligan about it, because sometimes in order to play something, even if it's not in the script, the actor has to know. Right. And at least the unofficial version is that Gretchen, the woman he was engaged to, he went to visit Gretchen's family, and they had Cadillacs and Mercedes and a huge mansion. And Walter became insecure, and he left her that night and barely spoke to her again and left the company. So she and his best friend were all they had left together, and they stayed at the company, and eventually they fell in love and got married. And he views that as the worst thing they've ever done to him.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Well, I just want to say, and this I was thinking about when we were talking about Mike's regret. I view, maybe this is overly semantic, but I view a regret as having to be about something you did. I don't know if that's technically true.
Your regret can't be something someone did to you.
Yeah. So I, for whatever sake of argument, I love what you were saying about Walter, and it actually made me think of something with Jimmy. But for the sake of argument, like, you can say he's regretting like his own sort of passivity there. And it's really interesting to know that detail. So you don't see in Breaking Bad him go to that place, see the rich people or anything like that.
No.
But
so that's why I told you, because it's really not like an event of the show.
No, but it's fascinating, and you have to, it does feel like something Jimmy would do, like not in the exact same way, maybe not triggered by the same thing.
But it's like, the same level of petty insecurity, yes.
Insecurity and like I can't handle feeling lesser than. So, here's what it makes me think of. How he acts at Kim's dinner party when she's working for Schweikart and Coakley or something like that. Him not being able to handle feeling less than or not fitting in. It's sort of the story of his life, so I'm just going to act out. Obviously, they do it in different ways, and they have different sensibilities and whatnot. Yeah.
And how he describes it later, like, how could you possibly make the mistake of taking me to your law firm on the clouds?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
You'll never make that mistake again. She fires back with, yeah, maybe I won't.
Oh, that scene. So good.
Such a good scene. Jimmy, you are always down.
Do we have anything else to talk about? I didn't end up doing the tier list. I'm going to do this. We'll do another stream sometime. This is a tier list for how much they need therapy or want therapy.
Oh, boy.
I made the categories needs therapy, could benefit from therapy, has definitely been to therapy, I don't care / they seem fine, not sure they'd understand therapy, has ascended beyond therapy.
Oh, God.
So
maybe before we go,
we'll have to do that
bonus.
Yeah.
There's one more bonus clip.
Oh, hell yeah. Wait. Wait. So what, this last one, okay, I can pull this up on Twitter. Nice. So you want to prep it at all or no?
The one above that. That
I got you. I didn't see that. So this is Bob talking about the ending of Better Call Saul. What is this?
This is a joke ending that Bob suggested. And I just thought it'd be a good way to end things.
Okay, it's a joke. I'm glad, because I saw a YouTube video. I didn't watch it, but it was like they plan to have this be the alternate ending. I'm sorry, if you guys are into that, no worries, but I don't fucking want to know, honestly, what they plan to be the alternate ending.
Oh, of course.
It's bullshit. It means less than nothing to me. It's, like these tidbits are interesting, but that I'd be like, fuck no, I don't believe it.
As a writer myself, I would love to talk to Peter Gould about how we got here.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear what they entertained, but only because I want to know how the sausage was made.
Yeah, maybe in a little while, Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
All right, so let me know when you're...
Yeah.
This one's very funny.
So let me put something on the screen. Maud Mary said, I love these streams. I could discuss this stuff forever. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. And this has been a 3-hour stream. Like, that's just next level.
We're going to have to do it again sometime,
We will definitely. And Simply Snaps, I know everybody's appreciative. Thank you so much for coming on stream and sharing your insights. Yeah. You have tons of
Thank you guys so much for all of the new subscribers on YouTube and all of the follows on Twitch. I'm just going to shamelessly post my Twitch link in.
I got
one more
it pinned.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You got
post it. No,
got
keep posting it
pinned.
though, because people need reinforcement.
They do. It's called a call to action, sweaty. So there's my
Yes.
Twitch and there's my YouTube. It's called a call to action. I wouldn't expect you.
Yes. No, I
users.
love self promotion. You have to, because you got to rep yourself. But yeah, no. And
Who
everybody
else is gonna promote you?
seriously, and everybody in the chat, y'all have been really great too. I mean, you all seem like really nice people, and that's good.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, thank you for coming and hanging out.
Great.
So, yeah, all right. Let's check out this last Bob Odenkirk delight.
Yeah, I facetiously named this audio file "Bob Fixes the Ending of Better Call Saul."
Yeah, that's
Just so you
what
guys know.
made me ask you and like get all stressed out. Like, what the fuck? Okay, all right. Let's check this out.
Sure.
Oh wait, sorry. Okay, so I'm starting it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Sure.
Shouldn't we have something?
Sure. We did talk about it. Yeah, it's interesting because the show gets.
It wouldn't have been hard. We could still go shoot.
Yeah, it's true.
There's
All right.
weeks left.
That's
I
true,
have an
Bob.
idea.
I have the cell phone.
All right, you got a cell phone. We can shoot this. Ready?
Yes.
Yeah, it was all a dream. So
No, it's not all a dream. Kim in the cigarette scene, which I'm assuming remains at the end,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
when she hands Jimmy the cigarette with her other hand, this is just one shot. Peter, this is one shot.
It's so easy
We
to
can
do.
do on a phone. Is a spoon, a metal spoon
Uh-huh.
with a slightly serrated edge.
Yes.
And he takes that with his other hand. He takes the cigarette with this hand, and then with this other hand, takes the spoon and slides it into his prison jumpsuit. And we know he's going to dig out. That's the beginnings. That's the beginning
I like it.
of the end. Okay, better ending.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Isn't that so Bob Odenkirk?
That's
Just
so
like-
funny.
And it's just one shot, Peter. It's just one little shot.
Well, I feel like he was also saying one shot in an almost like tempting way, like because they love doing these one shot scenes. It's like, oh, it could be this good,
It's
epic,
just-
like, yeah.
And also, like, we could do this so easily, Peter. It's one shot. Come on. and it killed me because I didn't know where he was going with it. But when he's like, and we know
Yeah.
he's gonna dig out of there.
It's classic. Before we go, we have to quickly mention the finger guns. So I did not realize it at first, but Kim does give the finger guns back. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. How could I not?
I mean, that is just so beautiful. When I realized,
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you notice? Because I actually pointed out to you that in what is it, Waterworks, the reflection of Saul's old commercials is the only thing in color.
Yes.
In his glasses.
Yes.
Did you notice that when Kim lights the cigarette for Jimmy, the flame is actually in color? It is a very dim red.
I did not notice it, but someone pointed it out, and I then noticed it.
The flame of their romance is the only color left in this timeline.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating because the color in the Gene timeline has always been a reflection of the past.
Yeah.
And like this little flame between them, it's so perfect. Just this small little flame, this color, the last remaining color in Jimmy's life, but it's there. And he's holding it. And it's warm.
Yeah.
And like this might not be the end, you know?
Yeah.
Like
it's so true. And it's especially true, not just the flame and a symbol for passion, but the whole it being from the past thing is really powerful.
right, because obviously shot for shot, it's the scene from Uno.
What is that? Oh,
with
from
them
the first episode. Yeah.
Sharing a cigarette.
Of course. And
you know
many
what's
other.
fascinating?
Yeah.
They had no idea who Kim was when they shot that scene.
I love that.
Like they just had some idea, and with Howard, they had no idea who Howard was because, like I explained at the start of the stream, they film like episode 1 when they're like writing episode 3.
Right.
So,
I mean, you have to do that. That's a limit of life. That's art. But you have to go about things in like an open way where you can adjust and adapt. I mean,
what's crazy is Bob and Michael McKeaton obviously Chuck and
Yeah.
Jimmy, they, in order to better play their dynamic, got together before they started filming the pilot and came up with their dynamic. They were like, Mom liked you. Like, Mom didn't like me.
Yeah.
Mom loved you. You could make people laugh. I am insecure about that. Like, they came up with that. And then because they played it, because they injected that life into the media, the writers ran with it. Because literally, the writers were like, I get the impression that Mom liked Jimmy more. And they were like, we were going for that.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And it makes me think about the first clip we listened to of Bob Odenkirk saying that he doesn't want to like sort of overanalyze or it's hard to like look inwards about his character that he's playing. I sort of think he's lying. I think he just doesn't want to. Because I think he has a great insight into Jimmy, and I think what you just said just proves that. Like,
I just feel like they're afraid of being authorities on it.
He doesn't want to. He has no need. He shouldn't have to, and he doesn't fucking want to. He's like, stop! Everybody, stop asking me. It's art. You're supposed to make sense of it yourself.
Like when Jimmy, I mean, when Bob Odenkirk says something about Jimmy, his mindset, it should have the same amount of value as someone like us who also watch the show way too much and have thought about it way too much.
Right.
Like, he didn't write it. Like,
and even the writers. What do they know?
100% death of the author. The show is over now. It's done.
Yeah.
Like, if you can find in the text evidence to support something, like, it can no longer be proven wrong.
It makes me. I was wanting to ask. Does anyone know like what are the other big or the much bigger Better Call Saul YouTube channels like doing? Are they going to keep making videos or are they going to?
You think they're just going to shut down the shop?
Well, no, they move on to other things or stuff like that. I just wonder like do people? How long will people like keep making videos about Better Call Saul? Like I've got a few more in me for sure, and then I could see making like. You know, I'll do a few more this year probably, and then I could see doing like one every year or something like that. But yeah.
My genius plan is to capitalize on the incoming drought.
Yeah, very smart. And it's going to go to Netflix. It'll like, you know,
desperate people.
Yeah. It'll be around.
Hello. Desperate viewer, meet bottom of the barrel.
Let me get your YouTube link back in the chat too, because we have your Twitch in there, but I want to make sure people subscribe to
you're gonna make me make Better Call Saul videos.
So are these. Anyone else who comes to your channel after seeing this, because you clearly know an enormous amount, and so hopefully you make more stuff. I mean, I don't do what you want, but you clearly have a ton of insight, so it's awesome to talk.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
you.
I gotta get it out, like
yeah.
Let it all out.
And I want to say to the other person, Caps Cow said, I didn't see that. I feel stupid. I don't know if you're talking about the finger guns or the cigarette. I definitely don't think it's stupid to miss either of those. I missed both of them watching it. And I think that we can take a positive away from that, which is this is a very rewatchable show. And what's done can be undone, as Jimmy said to Kim. So, you watch the show, but you can rewatch the show. And I think that's the beauty of it. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah. Someone says, sorry, Mr. Therapy simply is the competition, and I think that's going to be a tough battle. Yeah, I'm fucked.
I mean, I don't know. You are cis and a man. So just
I got a leg up.
Deny those intrinsic advantages.
Yeah, I'm trying to use that privilege as much as I can because my content kind of... You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely what people think. They click the video and they're like, the content is lacking.
Yeah,
but he's one of ours. So
yeah, it's true.
There's definitely a scarcity of like cis white men with opinions on TV shows.
I get comments all the time that are like, it's really refreshing to see like a cis het or mostly het like white male talking about.
I finally feel represented.
Yeah, I feel like the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul universe like doesn't have enough like white male representation, and so I get those comments like dozens every day. So yeah.
But listen, representation matters. I mean, it's been proven time and time again that even if it's superficial and even if maybe you should just have some goddamn empathy, But like, it's been proven that what's that show, Fresh Off the Boat? About
I've heard of that.
Asian
Yeah.
American family.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I'm not going to say what country they're from because I don't know. But they're an Asian American family, fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
And it has been extensively tested that white Americans who have watched Fresh Off the Boat are less likely to have negative biases or preconceived notions about Asian people.
Oh, that makes sense.
Than white Americans who don't.
Yeah.
And
exposure therapy.
Yeah, representation is very important, and it's part of the reason. It's part of the reason that the right doesn't want it.
And people complain about identity politics as if representation is the end goal of people's like politics, but it's just one factor that matters, and it does matter.
Well, and it's because people are like, oh, I can't watch Black Panther because I'm white and it wasn't made for me. They mock the very notion, and it's like I said this once, and it's always stuck with me. Representation is like oxygen. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but if you don't have it, you suffocate.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And for someone like you who has never struggled to see people like you on screen, I can certainly see why. And it's not that you don't, but I could certainly see why someone like you who hasn't, if you hadn't thought about it, just might not think about it. Yeah. But I assure you, as someone who has quite honestly never seen myself in Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, where my representation is limited almost exclusively to dead prostitutes on Law and Order.
Yeah.
I certainly feel it.
It's an extremely good point. Yeah. How do we conceive of like identities and ways people express themselves and ways people live? We're profoundly affected by media. And of course, how people interpret media, people like me, but much bigger people who, shape maybe the ways we take in narratives. But I guess things change slowly in the right way. It seems like, I don't know if you feel that way too.
Oh yeah. And by the way, everybody hit that subscribe button for What's Therapy. I don't know if he's going to say it, but you better. All right. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to hit the subscribe button for What's Therapy. You're going to ring the bell so you get notifications every time he uploads. Then you're going to go over to his Patreon and give $1 a month for access to his Discord server.
Follow the Twitch.
Then and only then will you follow the Twitch.
Wait, I want to thank you. That was great, Mike. I want to reference.
And you recommend this video to 3 friends, no more, no less.
So the chat's saying, a few people are saying she didn't do finger guns. Let's play it back really quick. I'm gonna just play that clip.
Play the clip back.
Play that back. All right.
Zoom and enhance. Enhance.
So everybody look at her right hand after he does the finger gun.
All I'm saying is a cop would have shot her for that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. I started the clip too late. My bad. Okay, let's try that again.
Leave me alone.
Did someone just give money, or is that someone followed the Twitch? My bad. Okay, so let's check this out.
Who cares about that?
Yeah. Gun down? Okay.
No, I'm just gonna... She's doing it, but what's important is she is breaking the law right now and is trying to keep a low profile. She doesn't give him finger guns in front of the cop.
Yeah.
But she does it for him.
Yeah, she's supposed to be his lawyer. I think it's very clear that that's finger guns. I did not see it at first. I think when you look at the way her thumb is and her fingers, and then you look at her mouth, I think she's got the perfect expression.
I think this is death of the author too.
Yeah, because they said that
impossible to know.
They said that Peter Gould said it himself. All right, well, fair enough.
Nope, death of the author.
Yeah, I think Peter can think that. I think maybe I disagree, I guess. He can come on my stream and we can have a debate. You can moderate it, Simply Snaps, so I don't yell at him too much.
Peter, I know we've been dodging your calls.
Yeah.
But I think we're finally ready to have you on.
Peter, if and when you're watching this, feel free to I'll unblock you on Twitter. You can message me.
Peter, I know you're 3.5 hours into the stream at 11:23 p.m. on Wednesday night. First of all, Peter, how about you spread the love a little? What'd you make this season? Donate a little to What's There.
I just want to say, even though I love thinking that she gave the finger guns, I do think it's totally fine for us to disagree about that, chat and everybody, because I think that is part of the beauty of a show like this or any good art.
I honestly think what's important is, did your life feel threatened by the finger gun?
Yes.
Because then you could administer deadly force.
Yes, and I tried to. I actually broke my TV when I was watching this.
You know that gif of someone fly tackling their own TV?
Yeah.
That was you.
Yeah. But hey, you know, we can all have different conclusions, and we can talk about that more. I'll do another stream. I don't know when, but I'm glad to do a Wednesday stream. It's such a different vibe, you know?
My God, finally. Another What Therapy stream has officially been confirmed.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I will. And I don't...
Let me check Vice. I'm sure they've posted about this.
Yes. I will say, I don't know if some of the other Better Call Saul YouTubers might not be doing that. And that's a little bit irresponsible. You know, people are grieving. People need to talk. Yeah.
I would certainly say, what would you call it? When someone's gone through something very traumatic and they want to go to therapy so they don't develop PTSD about it.
Right. This is like it's like a decompression chamber. Like when you go down like 100 meters in the ocean and you like don't want to get some weird disease or something, you go in a decompression chamber.
I mean, my sister got into a pretty bad car crash once, and while she was perfectly fine physically, she actually had a therapy session the next day, and she was explaining certain like phenomena of like her shaking and certain things she was feeling. And her therapist was like, oh, well, like, that's the beginning of PTSD.
Right.
Like, and my sister was like, what? She was like, yeah, but we can nip this in the bud because, like, you're being very mindful about it. So, like, so that is Better Call Saul. You guys have just gone through something very traumatic. And I think it would be downright irresponsible of us to just not help you through that transition.
It's very true. It's very true. Oh, Denise, you're a lawyer. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, please. We like your legal expertise.
Wait, hang on. Like, could we actually get a lawyer on sometime?
Yeah. If anyone wants to ever chat or anything like that, feel free to message me on Twitter or Discord or whatever. And I really enjoy it. And if anyone has other ideas of how to make this channel feel more like a community or anything, I'm always all ears. You know, it's very cool to have an audience, but I want it to feel nice, and I want it to feel a little bit like a community.
So Denise, I don't know if you have an answer for this now, but like, is there any way Kim could become a lawyer again in another state?
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Has she basically forfeited the right with that affidavit?
That's a great question. Let's see. Yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering.
That.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was wondering because she was dressed kind of nice in this scene. I'm just wondering, did she actually become a lawyer?
God.
Did she tell him that she just used her expired card and actually she became a lawyer, but she doesn't want him to know that yet? I don't know.
Maybe all of her stuff got thrown out because of Jimmy. I don't know.
Well, we can agree she didn't see any time, right? She didn't face any time.
I think personally that Cheryl was happy with what happened to Jimmy. I think Cheryl always viewed this as a Jimmy problem because Howard explained it as a Jimmy problem because Howard didn't know the severity of Kim's involvement. And I think since Jimmy was like an actual criminal and he was still hurting people and he was involved with money laundering and drug trafficking and murder and covering all of it up, I think Cheryl would be much more concerned about Jimmy going to prison. And if Jimmy went to prison and assumed all responsibility, I think Cheryl might drop a civil suit. And also, we never had confirmation that she would do a civil suit. I was actually surprised when that plot point came back because in Waterworks, she said, I could bring up a civil suit. I could take everything you have. She doesn't need it though.
But Oakley says she's shopping for lawyers. I was a little skeptical when he said that. Like, is she shopping? Is she just asking around? Who knows?
Yeah, and I think it's been proven pretty much here. Like, she's dressed nice. She's clearly flown back once again
to Colorado.
Like, I don't think she's losing everything.
Yeah, she flew from fucking Florida to Colorado to visit him in the.
Wait, why are we in Colorado?
Is that not where the prison ended up?
I don't know.
I thought it was.
What's ADX?
I know it looks like it would be. It almost looks like it would be Albuquerque or something. But someone said, okay, Denise said, I would bet she would have to make some restitution, prove that she deserved to be forgiven for what she did. I interpreted what Kim said as meaning that she was not a lawyer again, just that she still had her NMR. I know. I think she said that. I'm just wondering if she is or will become a lawyer again. Because
I don't think she is.
Yeah.
But something interesting. The one teaser that never ended up being in the show that we were all waiting for, and I never brought it up because I didn't want to spoil anything for you.
Yeah.
There was one mid-season teaser between Plan and Execution and Point and Shoot, where it showed the candle with Howard's blood spattered all over it. And it was flickering because Lalo was in the room. And it was this long monologue of Kim basically being sworn in as a lawyer.
Wow.
And we all thought, at first we thought this was going to be a flashback to like maybe like Howard sponsored her and was there when she became a lawyer because like HHM paid for her school.
Right.
And maybe like she was going to be looking at Howard's corpse and thinking back to like the day he was there for her. But that didn't happen.
That would have been good, yeah.
But then when she quit, I thought, well, she's going to become one again because what's that audio from?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sad to say that it was nothing. It was just a teaser. A ruse, a misdirect.
Wild.
We've been bamboozled.
Yeah, please feel free to send me that if you remember. I would check that out. That's wild, and I'm so glad I didn't watch those teasers. That would frustrate me to no end.
Yeah.
Got some nice comments. Siren Sint, I love your channel. Thanks for doing this. Thank you very much. Eric says, great channel. Thank you. SB is a real-life chemist. You'll be here when I finish Breaking Bad. Thank you. That's great. Ryan's an author. I assume SB means to talk about chemistry rather than to make me,
rather than to make crystal
methamphetamine or something. Ryan says, I'm an author, but that wouldn't slide it. Well, that's really dope to know that you're an author. That's awesome. The death of the author. We weren't talking about you when we were talking about the death of the author, just so you know.
Death of the author means we're going to kill you.
So on next week live stream, can we discuss the change that came over Jimmy after the phone booth called to Kim in Florida? Yes, remind me. So we'll do a live stream next week. I don't know what day. I don't want to be too strict about it now that we're a little looser. So
loosey-goosey.
We're loosey-goosey, but we'll figure it out. We'll do this again, and we'll just keep chatting. I don't know until we run out of things to talk about. But thank you so much, Simply Snaps, again for coming on and chatting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you to like the 20 people who subbed to my YouTube and like the 5 people who followed my Twitch. Like,
yeah,
I guess I'm gonna have to make something for you guys on the YouTube now.
Nice. Everybody keep subscribing to her YouTube, and she'll have to make something.
Just one more time. I guess if one more person subscribes, I'll have to make a Better Call Saul video.
Oh shit!
Right
yo,
no.
you got it. So, okay, well, I guess bye. I can't rate anyone because YouTube is weird, right?
Bye.
You can't. There's nothing else.
It sucks because if you had like almost 200 people on Twitch, you could like make someone's night.
I know. It's so weird. There's literally no way to. I mean, people would have to like allow me to beforehand, right? So,
I don't know this. Oh wait, hang on. Is that? Whoa, we just got 3. Well, guys, I said 1. You take instructions very well.
Technicality.
I said 1 more subscriber. Okay, no, don't unsubscribe.
No, but thanks everybody for watching. This has been really fun. I was not sure how it was going to go. I knew it would be a little longer than before. I did not expect it to be this long, but I'm so glad it was. We had such a great conversation, and this will be available. I'll just tell everyone. This will be available on the side channel. I'll make it available right after we stop. It'll be unlisted,
yeah.
but you can see it easily with the it'll be in a playlist. Thank you to filling the void in me after Better Call Saul is finished. I just want to talk. Great. Yeah, well, we can talk. Yeah. We'll come back next time. We'll keep talking. And
Can we at least try to raid Mar-a-Lago?
that was funny. I don't know if it was you or someone else, but when I was streaming last Monday,
I was the one who told you.
yeah, you were the one who told me. Someone else was like, "Oh yeah, do you think it's more likely that Jimmy ends up in cuffs or Trump?" And I'm like, "Oh, like Jimmy, haha, like presidents never face anything." And then you're like, "Yeah, by the way, like Mar-a-Lago got raided. I don't know if you know that." And I'm like, "Oh."
You probably felt so silly as the Newsweek evolved.
I'm like both like too in the know about certain political things and then way too like not paying attention sometimes. That's something I gotta probably figure out. But anyways.
Someone tweeted like Mar-a-Lago, yo, thanks to FBI for the raid.
Yeah, that's so funny. I saw funny like fake thumbnails of like FBI posting like an unboxing video or like, yo, check out what we got.
Oh no. All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye,
I'm sure
let's
I'll
get
be on again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Simply Snaps. We'll definitely have you on again. And yeah, let's get a bye in the chat, some sort of closure, and maybe I'll like play some music to play us out or something. I don't know.
Wow, to play us out.
Yeah. And yeah, that's all. So okay. Thanks again. Simply Snaps. Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty, that was